Last time on Square Roots, we rescue a lady, meet a four-eyed nerd, and go back to school. Also, our voice-based assistant gets a body. Is my Alexa secretly a sex bot? I don't want a sex bot, I want a robo-maid. Do you think I could upload my Roomba into one of those things? What kind of suction do you guys think Edie has?
Hey everyone, and welcome to Square Roots, the classic RPG podcast. I'm joined by Mr. Cutie.
That's me. Hello, I'm Mr. Cutie. Don't you normally say your name first?
Oh yeah, I'm Jim Banks.
And I'm Mr. Cutie.
And we also have John Tuchanka Brandon.
Yay!
Tchunka chunk.
Chunk. And Vanessa.
Hi, I'm Vanessa, aka The Winker.
And this is a podcast where we play and talk about your favorite classic RPGs, one Tuchanker at a time.
Do y'all remember when Badonk was a thing that people said, and there was like a mild hit on the radio called Badonkadonk?
Yeah.
Do you
I
remember
didn't want to remember.
the country song Honky Tonk Badonkadonk?
Oof.
No.
I worked at a terrible telemarketing company when that Badonkadonk song was out, and they paid that sad boy band to come into our sad office park and play it for us. And it was the most embarrassing thing I've ever watched in my entire life for everybody, to be perfectly frank.
How
I
much
just
did
saw-
you relate to the Good Life the Good Place girl working at that place?
A lot.
Okay.
No, that's not true. I could never sell a
Oh.
damn thing. It was all trash, and I just couldn't bring myself to actually like push people for the garbage, so I just didn't and skated by. And then somebody made me a manager for some reason. It was stupid.
I know.
You're just not good at sales.
It was so
Hello?
Matt's not
stupid.
making any sales. You better make him a manager.
Well,
I
guys,
just saw a video this week of, I think, Meghan Trainor performing for a corporate meeting. And it's like a room full of people just sitting so stone still while she sings her little heart out, staring at the stage.
I mean, you're at
Is she
work.
different than
What are you supposed to do?
Megan the Stallion?
I don't think it was Megan the Stallion. I think it was Meghan Trainor.
They're different people, is what I'm confirming.
yes.
I don't get it.
One's a
Different people
stallion
are
and
different.
one's a trainer. What's complicated
what about
about
M3
this?
Gan?
Oh,
Is
that's
that-
true.
Is M3 Gan a different version of the robot Megan?
What?
Excuse me?
John
This
is doing a
bit-
bit.
It's working real well.
It's not.
It's working
I'm-
real well.
Got it.
I'm confusing
Dump it.
Megan Stallion,
It's
the
garbage.
Stallion, Megan Trainor, and Megan the robot. It was going to be
Johnny-
hilarious, and y'all didn't yes and me, so I'm going to sit here and pet my cat.
We can't yes and anymore because Jim is afraid of improv.
It
What?
it just makes me uncomfortable. I
Jim.
get vicarious embarrassment.
Like when I saw Badonkadonk performed live in my shitty office park.
Exactly.
Vicarious.
I didn't realize that guy who was the voice actor in Lunar was in the boy band O-Town afterwards.
Well. So anyway. We're not going to do Jim's game this week. So
No,
instead,
I'm unprepared.
we're going to do a little hot gaming news for our listeners, because there was some hot gaming news this week, including, that's right, I'm just going to kick us off, Metroid
Good.
Prime Remaster got released on the Switch this week. Who's excited for Metroid Prime Remaster?
I
Not
pre-ordered
I.
the cart. I know. I love a Metroid. I love a Prime. I love Metroid Prime. It's one of my favorite games that I've never finished. I would put it up there in like top 10 games I love that I've never finished.
I loved it as well. I played it on the GameCube, and I vividly remember sitting in an office chair in the middle of my living room, playing Metroid Prime and fighting Ridley, and zooming myself
Believe
around
it
the
or
room
not.
left and right and back and forward along with Samus. It was silly but fun. I was very engrossed by that game.
Oh, fun.
I've never played
It's
it.
it's really pretty. Even the GameCube version is incredible for like, was it 2001, 2002?
Yeah.
It was a gorgeous game.
I had played
It still holds up.
the remake that came out on the Wii or the Wii U, but it still didn't have very good controls, and I just couldn't do it. I can't do the bad controls.
I tried to play it one time, and it was the controls that really turned me off.
It plays well on the Wii. It's the Wii version that you can still buy, or you can't anymore buy it on the Wii U. But using I find the Wiimote for real games gets tiring after like half an hour.
There weren't a ton, but I did not like first person with Wiimote. That was not a good.
Oh, that's bad.
But so the new remaster on the Switch has a modern control scheme, and I didn't buy it day one, but I'm definitely going to be picking it up sometime soon. It looks incredible.
What's it retailing for? Is it $60?
$40.
Oh, fine.
Yeah.
That's not bad.
Seems reasonable to me.
50 Canada bucks.
I mean, this will be my third time paying for this game, and I'm more than happy to pay it. It's a good game. Anyway, what else in the hot gaming newsosphere? Anybody want to volunteer?
They put some Game Boy games in the Switch library.
And Game Boy Advance.
Yeah. And they've got the cool like color palette settings, so you can play it as if you're looking at one of those old handhelds. It's pretty neat.
I don't find many of the games for those systems to hold up particularly well.
I think Mario Land 2 is a lot of fun, and on the GBA, like if you have the NSO Plus with the GBA games, definitely play WarioWare. That game holds up and is amazing.
WarioWare is fantastic. I know that some of the GBA games I certainly feel like hold up. It's the Game Boy games that I think they're certainly fun, but they just are certainly very tiny, and I don't mean screen size. Tiny bite-sized little levels and tiny bite-sized everything. Anyway, that's fine.
Metroid, I like Metroid Samus Returns. That's a great game. And I love the like classic Game Boy and Game Boy Pocket screen. They're so nostalgic. But I revived my Game Boy Pocket and put new batteries in it and stuff. And man, looking at that screen is so annoying. Trying to get it reflecting just right to show graphics.
What else did they release? Legend of Zelda Minish Cap is on there. That's a stone cold classic.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what else. I haven't gone through it.
Is it only Super Mario Land 2? Do they not put Super Mario Land 1 on there? I'd have to go back and look. Because 2 is a better game, but 1 is fun to mess around with because it's so weird.
You know, I think a lot of those games are fun to mess around with. I just can't see myself really replaying a lot of them. But I would replay Minish Cap, and I know that there were some good... I don't know if the Castlevania games made it on there. Probably not. But there were definitely some good Metroid advanced games, and there's lots of good stuff.
Yeah, those haven't shown up yet on the GBA list, but I bet they will.
Speaking of, there was a big list of... Speaking of remasters, there was a big list of remasters out of that Nintendo thing. Betin Kratos 1 and 2? Kados? I don't know. Advanced Wars 1 and 2.
Kaidos?
Etrian Odyssey 1 through 3, all getting Switch remasters. That's pretty cool.
I had to crush Matthew's dreams of doing Etrian Odyssey on the show because I just feel like if you wanted to do one of those games, Persona Q is like that with a story. It's got the mapping stuff.
Yeah, I didn't
from
realize
the
it didn't
games.
have a real much of a plot to it, and you're right that does not make good show fodder. So that's fine.
Yeah, the Persona Q games would work. They have enough story, but not the Etrian games. There's a version of Etrian Odyssey 1 where they added a story mode, and that was for the 3DS, and I don't know if they're going to include that update in the remake or not. If it's going to be a remake of the DS one without the story mode or not.
I guess we'll see. Was the Breath of the Wild 2 release date news? I wasn't sure. I was not. I was not aware.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
that's
and they opened it up. They opened up pre-orders for it too.
did they
That was
really?
one of the announcements.
Was it May 23rd? I think.
I don't remember. I remember seeing people on the internet pissed off that it's $70, but I mean, that's just what games cost.
Shut up and take my
That's
money.
The world we live in.
I would not. I would pay more. Nintendo, let's be real. You could charge me $100 and I would happily pay it.
I got some hot gaming news.
Tell us.
Ooh.
Oh, Vanessa's got something.
CDPR is apologizing for accidentally putting vaginas into the next gen update for Witcher 3.
What?
Accidentally put
They
it. How do
say
you
they didn't
accidentally
mean
put a
to.
vagina in?
What?
So
What?
We just built it
This
for
next gen-
ourselves.
yeah, this next gen update for Witcher 3 came out. And apparently it utilizes a bunch of things that weren't created by CD Projekt Red, namely like fan tweaks
Fan
and
mods?
things like that.
Whoa.
And when they did the update, people noticed that it included, for the female characters, vaginas with narrow little 2023 style landing strips. And
2023 style.
I don't actually keep up with the fads, so I don't know if that's...
I was gonna say, is that like is that hot? Is that a hot thing now?
I don't know. Grab one of those Cosmos that you have around and tell us what the latest trends are. Yeah, so they say that this was a mistake and they didn't mean to, and they're working on addressing now removing the vaginas from the update. So if you are an adult in 2023 and don't have any access to pornography, but do have the ability to download a next-gen update for Witcher 3, now's your chance to see some vaguely sculpted vaginas before they're gone for good. It's pretty exciting stuff.
I think more games should be re-released with the ability to take advantage of mods, like what they did with Skyrim and Fallout 4.
That
But,
wasn't
like, not
exactly
vagina
where I
mods,
thought you
but-
were going with that. So I'm happy that
More
we
video
ended up
games
there.
should have realistic vaginas.
Yeah, I mean, we can all
Well,
agree
I
on
guess-
that. We're gamers here, so that's definitely one of our top priorities.
Well, my problem is when I see a female character who doesn't have a realistically rendered vagina, I don't understand how she's supposed to be moving. Because, like, are her legs just stuck together? That doesn't make any sense.
What? She's like a
What?
Ken doll. Like a Barbie.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I see. Yeah. Well, you still have to have some stretch in the skin down there, I would think. I don't
Right.
know. You all have taints. How does that work?
Did you just say the word taint to me?
Let's break it down.
Say the
Taints.
word taint.
How do they
to
work?
me. Well, everyone has taints.
Yeah.
Yeah. Taints
guess that's true.
are universal.
Yeah. It's called a perineum. Look it up.
Okay.
Don't look it up.
I'll just
Did John
Google
just Z-snap?
Yeah, he did.
He did. The 2023 Z-Snap.
Yeah,
I
man.
got some of that secondhand embarrassment we were talking about earlier when he did it.
So that's the hottest gaming news I've heard of. Emphasis on the hot.
They also announced a Samba de Amigo is getting re-released.
Hey!
Yeah. I guess you can use little Switch controllers like maracas. Have
Ah,
fun.
Oh,
That's fun. I have some
that sounds fun.
fake gaming news.
Yeah.
Oh.
There was an interview with one of the developers for, I don't know, some probably mobile Final Fantasy game, and they mentioned that the Final Fantasy Tactics team was hard at work on something. And the very next day, I saw multiple articles about Final Fantasy Tactics Remaster confirmed. Of course, it wasn't
Well,
confirmed.
You said
It
that's
feels
fake news,
very
or-
unlikely. No, that's not what they
Yeah.
said. They said they're busy. That could mean anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
Might be busy cleaning out their fucking desks.
Did they give everyone a big wink after they said they're busy? They're real busy.
Wink.
All right. Do we have any other hot gaming news to add to this mix?
This isn't
I
hot
don't
gaming
think
news,
so.
but ever since we talked about using the Switch controllers as maracas, marimbas,
Okay, seconds ago. So ever since seconds
can't
ago.
Marimba is a
Never
large
touched
I like
that.
that
tube.
both John and Vanessa are doing this.
the
shake weight?
Jim is doing the double jerk off shake weight motion.
We're just having so much fun. These maracas.
I'm taking a shower.
Uh-huh.
I can't stop thinking about getting a Switch version of Trombone Hero where you use the
Oh, I would love
Switch
that.
thing as the thing and slide it back and forth away from your mouth.
That'd be great. You should program it.
I should. I'll do it right now. Clack, 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 clack. That's me typing. I don't actually want to type because I have the notes
Clack, clack,
document open. Clack, 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 clack.
Who wants to talk about how they
Is
leveled
that all
up?
the hot gaming news? I will. I'll go. I saw a movie today
What?
called Knock at the Cabin,
I don't believe that.
directed by M. Night Shyamalan. And
Hey, Jim.
I liked
Hey.
it a lot. Hey,
Hey, bud. Hey, Jim.
hey,
I
what?
know you're in the middle of your level up, but I also saw that movie.
What?
Whoa, what'd you think?
I think I did like it. The friend I saw it with hated it, and
Why?
so I don't know. So it took me a little bit longer to come around to liking it. I didn't care for the ending as compared to how it ends in the book. I don't want to get into spoilers, but it is different.
Yeah.
I haven't read the book, but I did read about it. And I think that what they have done really kind of changes the message of it quite a bit, significantly.
I thought it was. I mean, I like the movie overall, but it's weird. It's very religious.
Mm-hmm.
Which is weird because I mean there was some of that in the book, but it wasn't as overt. But I liked it
Dave
overall.
Bautista was great in it.
Oh my gosh, he's like incredible. Like he's got like he's just seems like such a warm guy, but he's a hulking monster.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, it just played really well in the movie for me. I think he's awesome.
Yeah, I liked the whole cast. Rupert Grint is in it, and there's one word that he said, and I can't remember what it was, but I felt like his American accent just vanished.
I
was
thought
like-
I thought his performance was really good. I wanted more Rupert Grint, honestly.
I liked it a lot, but I swear he was like, I'm from I can't even say Massachusetts in a British accent.
Massachusetts.
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 Yeah, I'm from Massachusetts, and I'm here. You know, it was very jarring. There was just something about it, but yeah, he was good, and it's good to see him kind of embracing that character actor role, which he has been, because he's an interesting looking guy, and I think that he can play with that in different ways that we haven't necessarily seen him do.
Have you ever
to be
thought
a
about
little
replacing the
sinister.
word taint with the word grint?
Taint, taint.
Grint?
You know, you're grint. Oh, I gotta go clean my grint. I'm real sweaty.
Ew, I don't
Do you
like
think
that.
that's what he calls it?
Yeah.
I bet he doesn't.
All right. Another successful bit. I'll let you get back to your talk.
Thank you. No, the movie was good.
Said
and I
very
liked it.
clearly, no more bits that we haven't vetted beforehand. And the only bit we
Yeah.
vetted this week is Improv Death, the Yes and Grim Reaper.
We vetted the Mr. Cutie bit before we started recording.
I don't
that's true.
understand that. I
Oh,
wasn't
Mr.
even consulted
Cutie.
on Mr. Cutie.
Yeah.
What is Mr. Cutie?
It doesn't make sense. Don't worry about it. It's just something
It's
Vanessa
one of those
called
you
me.
had to be there jokes, John.
It's just something Vanessa called me.
I did. I don't remember what I was intending to call cute, but Matt came right into screen
no,
right at
you
that
were-
moment.
You were complimenting the decor of the office that I'm currently in.
Oh, that's
and you
right.
said,
yeah.
"Oh, it's cute." And then Matt was like, "Thank you."
Anyway, now that we've fucking made this joke even better by explaining it.
By explaining it to the audience. Wait, let's go back and start at the beginning. Behind Jim on the wall, there are two small shadow boxes next to a decorative plant in a gold vase.
So y'all have nothing else to say
I thought
about
it made a very nice little motif.
Knock at the cabin. Park the car.
Knock at the cabin.
Knock at the cabin.
Is good.
Mm-hmm.
And
I don't think you necessarily need to run to the theater to see it on the big screen. If you're not super into it, I think it will work at home as well. But it did look good. I liked the way it was filmed. They focused in interesting ways.
Do you think it was as good as M. Night Shyamalan's last tour de force, Old Beach?
The beach where you grow old?
was definitely better than Old Beach.
I still have not gotten around to watching Old Beach.
Wow.
But I think all of the performances in Knock at the Cabin were really good, especially the four home invaders. I thought they were all very good. And to Vanessa's point, there's a lot of really cool visuals in the movie, and it kind of shifts between present day and some flashbacks really well. Like, it's not jarring, and I think it adds a lot to the movie. So it's good. I liked it.
And there's a little girl in it, and she's a little cutie pie.
She is a little cutie.
She's the little cutest little girl you'll ever see.
And Jonathan Groff is really good in it too. I really liked the performance of the two male leads. Liked it a lot.
I like Jonathan Groff a lot because I love the theater, and he is Broadway's own darling, Jonathan Groff.
Yeah, he's a Broadway boy.
He is a Broadway boy. So it was nice to see him in this role. And it was nice to have a movie that was about a family that includes a gay couple without it being a gay couple movie, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't about them being a gay couple.
It wasn't a weepy drama.
No.
Yeah.
But I did notice the audience leaned heavily towards gay couples when I went to see it. So I thought that was cool. It's like, hey,
that is
now
cool.
we can watch people like us in peril and having a terrible time, not just straight people.
Meanwhile, gay singles went to go see Megan because they're like, boo, couples.
Yeah.
Yes, murder doll.
Mm-hmm.
John, have you seen Megan yet?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
He
Did you
thought
like
it was
it?
okay.
Oh.
Mhm.
Oh, that's right.
Mm-hmm.
I remember.
talked about
Okay,
it
who else
on
leveled
the show.
up? Yeah.
Well, let me finish off,
yeah.
if you don't mind, since I kind of shared yours. I also have been playing a game called Mass Effect,
What? What?
Mass Effect
Andromeda.
Mass Effect : Andromeda.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any updated thoughts on this game?
I'm enjoying it more than I did the first time, I think. I think I've only played it once. It's very MMO-y in the way it's laid out. Like, you go to very large planets and there's a lot of running or driving around and being like, hey, can you bring me 5 different rocks from these 5 places? I'll mark them on your mini-map. Thanks.
And there's no complex environments. There's no big cities to explore.
No,
Really?
there really aren't. And the
Interiors in
graphics-
general.
Yeah, the graphics are very cartoony, and I felt that at the time. They felt like, and I don't know if it's because I just played the remaster, but they felt like a step down to me.
It's definitely more Overwatchy.
All the textures in that game look really soft.
They do, yeah. It's kind
yeah.
of muddy,
Yeah.
and I don't think it's ever going to get a next-gen facelift because it wasn't very popular. I have been enjoying it, and it's a great game for listening to podcasts while you play it. I've been listening to Oh No, Ross and Carrie. Ross visits the Ark Encounter, which has been
I have
super
been
great fun.
enjoying that series. It's been a lot of fun. Although I think some of those signs Ross was talking about were just making me mad in this latest.
Yeah. Ross has the ability to go to things like the Ark encounter and not just become infuriated on the spot. So
That's the one is it in Kentucky? They recreated the entire, well, what they believe to be a accurate version of the Ark, but then they also stuck a building against it, which sort of defeats the purpose of trying to build an accurate Ark because it doesn't
Right.
look like the Ark because there's a
but
building
they had to put the
in
gift
it.
shop somewhere.
I would have just made room for it. Got rid of a couple of those Stegosauruses or whatever. they
Yeah,
said
they
are in
do
this
have
Ark.
dinosaurs on the Ark, because, as we all know, there were dinosaurs
Biblically
on the
accurate.
Ark.
Yeah. As it says in the Bible, so low did Noah get a rad T-Rex, and it was cool.
Mm-hmm. So I do recommend that for if you have an itch for a big open world game and want something that you can just kind of chillax while
The
you
Ark
play.
Encounter?
Yeah, the Ark Encounter. I recommend that you go to the Ark Encounter and learn about how God sent the flood to punish the wicked, because it could happen again if you're not careful.
I love how much Carrie hates the whole Noah's flood story. She hates it so
It's
much.
very silly.
I was not familiar with it until I was older, and so I think it's the kind of thing that you have to learn about as like a child in order to be able to connect with it at all.
Do you
Well,
want
yeah,
to
because
hear?
if you think critically about it, it just doesn't make any fucking sense.
Yeah,
wanna
unless
hear
you go to the Ark
something-
Encounter where they explain everything, Jim.
Vanessa, do you want to hear a piece of my childhood?
I do want to hear a piece of your childhood.
The rainbow is a promise in the sky. There'll never be another flood where all the people die.
What a beautiful song to teach to a
Wow.
child.
Children gotta know.
Yeah, children gotta
Yeah.
know about the flood that killed all the bad people. But it didn't really work because there's still bad people afterwards.
Yeah, that's
God
how...
fucked up.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to quite have panned out. And also, I was thinking about, like, the genealogy of the whole thing. So, like, everyone knows we're all related to Adam and Eve, but now there's this other guy who we're also all related to, even closer in time.
Yeah.
It certainly doesn't sound like ancient, not very evolved people making up a story to explain a flash flood or something.
Mm-hmm.
And the one guy
The rainbow is a promise.
that was
in
building
the
a boat
sky.
survived and was like, God told me to do this. I don't know.
Yeah, God told me.
It was funny. There's a story that is, I think, briefly touched on in the movie Pig, where early colonizers came to Vancouver Island, and the people on Vancouver Island were like, hey, dude, there's just this crazy flood, like, pretty recently, and it wiped out like all the trees here, and there was a like giant bajillion feet tall wave and everything, and the colonizers are like, oh, these indigenous people with their crazy stories, let's steal all their land. And turns out it was real.
And that's how John leveled
Really
up.
just happened in the 19th century. Yeah, I could tell you more about that. They talk about it in Pig. Jim, remember that?
They talk about what in Pig?
The Pacific Northwest earthquake as big as the one in the 19th century that is doomed to happen eventually.
Oh, that's right.
And wipe out Vancouver, Seattle, and Portland.
They also
They've
talk
been
about that
telling me
in
my
Knock at the
whole
Cabin.
life that earthquake is coming. I remember
Yeah.
being in grade school and they were like, the big one's coming in the next 10 years. It didn't come.
Nicolas Cage's
be right
monologue
now.
about that in Pig is actually really good. When he's explaining like how that part of the country is gonna like fall into the ocean and nobody's gonna have time to save themselves or take cover, and it's really good.
Mm-hmm.
So, friends, I know you're all champing at the bit to find out how I leveled up.
I'm chomping actually.
Oh, well, that's weird.
You'll hurt your little teeth. Can't chomp
don't
it a
do
bit.
that. I had to pay to get my computer fixed, even though it has a warranty, and then they didn't fix it, so I have to bring it back again because it's got something wrong with the chip. It's overheating and then shutting down when I play games, and it's real annoying.
Why do you have to pay for it? And it had a warranty, and
They're like,
terrible.
oh, the warranty you bought is a hardware warranty, actually. It's not a software warranty. So we're going to fix your software, not the hardware, and make you pay for it, even though it's a hardware problem. So I'm gonna have words. Actually, Matthew, do you mind pretending to be me and yelling at them?
No, I love that. It's my favorite thing to do.
Yeah. Okay, good. So yeah, my computer's still giving me issues.
Weird.
And I installed a bunch of games. I was playing a bunch of games on my PC, and none of them work with my super cool wide monitor because they're all from Japan, and Japanese PC ports seem to be kind of terrible. I don't know why.
They don't respect PC gamers in Japan.
I want to be playing Ace Combat 7 with a super widescreen. That game is insane. The lore, there's a really great Twitter video of someone explaining in Discord the lore behind the Ace Combat series, and it's just like
wild.
a
I've
video
seen that.
like zooming out of the text, like the paragraphs and paragraphs of text.
Yeah.
It's starting millions of years ago because it's like a JRPG fantasy world, but in the 21st century with real world aircraft. It makes no sense.
It's really weird.
Mm-hmm. It's pretty fun. So yeah, I've been playing that. Man, that game is so good. And I know it's military. At least I can. I'm not going to watch a stupid Top Gun movie, but I will play this game because it's at least fake armies and fake countries with really dumb names that make me laugh all the time because all the city names are so stupid. I have been watching more Last of Us. I would say that episode 3 and 4 or 4 and 5 were not as good as episode 3. That's my hot take.
That's
seen
not
this week's
fair. Because episode 3 was like one of the best episodes of television probably ever.
I haven't
I'd
watched
say
episode
recently.
5 yet,
I
so
wouldn't
please
say
don't
ever.
spoil
It's too soon.
anything.
Yeah, me either.
Me
Oh,
either.
well, never mind. None of you have watched it. I
No, and this
wouldn't
morning
spoil-
you were like, hey, let's talk about episode 5.
All I said was, uh-oh.
You know
You'll
that
note.
I'm the world's greatest detective, and I will extrapolate and infer accurately what happens based on your uh-oh. And don't come at me with like, you've played the game, you already know what happens. Maybe I did, maybe I didn't.
What was
Uh-oh.
that? Vanessa does have a reputation for guessing what happens in movies. What was that one that you watched recently though that you didn't guess correctly?
It was
Not make it.
your favorite movie,
The Menu.
Barbarian.
Oh.
Oh, it was Barbarian. That's right.
Yeah. But then there was
Yeah, that one's
another-
hard to guess where that one's
Yeah.
going.
Yeah.
Matthew, did you see Barbarian?
Yes, we did an episode about it.
Oh, that's right.
Oh,
You
we did.
totally do an episode about that. Anyway, so mostly I've been doing that. I've been ideating about. I pre-ordered the cart for Metroid Prime, and I fixed up my Game Boy Pocket. Although I need to get a new screen cover for it, and been playing a lot of PC games. And Persona 5 Royal is on PC, so I just downloaded that. Once again, not super widescreen. They won't let me have fun. It's all right. And Drag Race. So RuPaul's Drag Race, one of the challenges they do every season is a fake TV show. It's an acting challenge. And I think this season's fake TV show is the worst one yet. It's
Oh no.
so bad. They're always like a parody. This is kind of like a Dynasty / Golden Girls kind of parody, but they say they infused it with Tim and Eric comedy at the end in this weird
Ooh.
like cut to RuPaul, because they did make a lot of strange cuts during the show, but they weren't funny or good. It was just 20 minutes of the most dire television I've seen in a long
Oh, man.
time.
Mm.
Yeah. And this
May
season
I-
of Drag Race has been terrible.
Hmm. May I ask a question about
Yeah.
the contestants that might be a spoiler for some people who haven't watched yet, so they should shut their little ear holes?
Okay.
Uh,
We'll keep it to the next minute. So we'll skip ahead a
Yeah.
minute.
Is the lady who walks the duck walk still there?
Which one?
I saw a lady on the Twitter from RuPaul's Drag Race, and they were like, "Now please meet this lady." And this lady came in, and she was like, "You better walk that duck walk." Quack, 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 quack.
Oh,
and
I
like
don't
quacked
remember.
all the way across the stage.
I honestly don't remember the names of the queens this season.
I don't know her name. Maybe it's the upcoming season. I've
No,
never
this
been
is-
particularly
this is the. I
interested.
think I know who you're talking about, and I think she's still there, but I'm not 100% sure. Anyway, you know what? You know what I feel like doing? Going to the quest log.
I don't get to
what
level
about
up?
Matt's level
Open it up. Oh,
Yeah,
I guess
Matt's
Matthew.
gotta level up.
Yeah, Matthew's
He's been
gotta
trying
start
like
first.
since we started.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, buddy. Oh, Mr. Cutie Pie.
No, you don't get to add
Mr.
on.
Cutie himself.
Mr. Cutie.
Hello,
Sorry.
it's me, Mr. Cutie. I don't know why I'm British.
He's Mr.
I
Cutie.
didn't do a lot this week. I finally picked back up the book A Deadly Education by Naomi Novik, which I had started and then got yanked off of for reasons. And I finally picked it back up and read it. I spent many nights this week sitting quietly and reading, which is a bit weird for me. I barely played games or did anything else at all. And it was wonderful. I loved it. So much so that the night that I finished it, I ordered the next book, and I'm about halfway through that now. And it's delightful. Fun, breezy, interesting. Great. Great book. Great stuff. Everybody should check that out if you like reading. I've talked about it before, so I won't go into detail. The only other thing I really did this week is watch my Poker Face. That's right. I watched Poker Face.
The Russell
Oh, I
Crowe
thought-
How'd
movie.
you like it?
Not the Russell Crowe movie, no.
Me dancing on TikTok to the song Poker Face.
Poker Face with Natasha Lyonne. It is on Peacock. It is a Columbo-ish style murder mystery series with Natasha Lyonne solving a new murder
love.
every week. She is not a police person, so it does not often resolve with the culprit simply being sent to jail, which is a fun kind of twist. And it has a concept that she can always tell when people are lying. She's like a living lie detector.
Does she talk about cockroaches?
She does not. She has not said cockroach yet, which I hope she does. Poker Face. It's really good. I like it. Every episode has had some big name stars. Chloe Sevigny was in one. Who else?
Sevigny.
Sevigny.
7 yay, right?
Fuck off. Tim. Not Tim Robbins.
Matheson.
Tim Meadows.
Tim Meadows.
Was in an episode, and there were
Tim Meadows is awesome.
some other well-known character actors in major roles. Oh, Jamia Jamil was in the latest one, and that was delightful. Everybody knows that I love Jamia Jamil. I can't say her name right, but I love her. Poker Face, a lot of fun. I think that if you like a Columbo style person muddles through a mystery style show, it's also Columbo style in that the first act of the show is very much just the murder, and then it does this interesting thing where after the first act it will roll back time a little bit, and you will see how Natasha
Dun, dun, dun.
Lyonne fits into this particular murder mystery, which is pretty funny because oftentimes it's as simple as got a job there and was just kind of off camera the whole time. So it's kind of funny. I like it. It's great. I've really been enjoying it. So check out Poker Face on Peacock. That's my level up.
If I could find
Sweet.
a way.
Hey, have you guys seen Kunk on Earth yet?
Gunk?
That-
Gonk?
That show on Netflix, Kunk on Earth. Have you guys
Kunk-
watched that yet?
Is it
I almost started it, but I did not.
Kunk?
How is it? Do you like
What
it?
is-
It's like a mock. It's like a mockumentary. It's really
Yeah.
funny. I liked it a lot.
What?
Punk on Earth.
I've never heard of such a
It
thing.
just came out on Netflix.
You should watch it. It's real funny.
Yeah, the previews have
Vanessa,
made
have you
me
seen that
laugh, but I
show?
have not. I keep almost turning it on and then reading instead.
It's funny because it's like a mock, and I guess this is like a character from British television that this actor has done a lot of, but it's funny because she's hosting this, this documentary about basically about Earth and humanity, but she's like wrong about everything. Like every assertion she makes is wildly like ignorant, and it's just it's really funny. Like, and
It's a bit
she's
like Look
interviewing
Around
like
You.
actual. Yeah, kind of. And she's like interviewing actual like philosophers and historians and just asking them the stupidest questions.
Oh,
the like premises for all of her questions are so awful. It's just really funny.
Are they prepared, or is it like an Ali G kind of situation?
Do what?
Are they prepared? Do they know that it's going to be funny, or
No,
Did
I think they think that she's doing like a legitimate interview, but her
Okay.
questions are awful and stupid. Like she
So-
was introducing a segment about philosophy, and she's like, philosophy is basically thinking about thinking. And if that sounds like a waste of time, it's because it is. She goes into like interview an actual philosopher. It's really funny.
Who's the
So-
performer?
Oh gosh. What is her name? Diane Morgan?
No, never heard of her. She hasn't been on Taskmaster, so she can't be a British comedian.
That's like your only reference for British people.
Yep.
Vanessa, have you seen Kevin Can Fuck Himself?
No. Can he, though?
I think I watched the first episode or two of that, and it was an interesting premise, but I didn't follow through.
It is
It
an
doesn't-
interesting premise. I've never seen a man do that. But I guess it's possible.
Do you know the actor Raymond Lee?
It seems like yes. Is this an actor I have a crush on from Marvel movies?
Let's see.
Stars
Quantum
the girl
Leap?
that plays Alexis.
Oh, Quantum
Top Gun.
Leap. That's what he's in.
Yeah.
He's
Oh.
dreamy.
And Alexis from Schitt's
Mm-hmm.
Creek is the main character.
The premise of the show seemed to be that it would switch back and forth between a multicam style sitcom. You know what I mean? Like with everybody, with all the high lighting and everything, and then she would kind of
And laugh track.
and then she would kind of walk out of the room or go outside, and it would be a single cam kind of drama where she's dealing with
Yeah, like
oh,
a
yeah,
Breaking
yeah,
Bad.
I remember that.
everybody. The laugh
premise.
track loves Kevin, her husband, and all of his awful
Yeah.
antics, but then she walks out of the room and is like shaking and crying because she's like, he's such a piece of shit, and he's wasted again, and it's Christmas.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it was a bit tough to
it's
swallow.
interesting. It's pretty dark. It's very
I've heard
dark.
that.
I don't know if I can continue with that one, but I thought it was interesting, and I think Vanessa might want to give it a shot.
Is it all out now? See, is it? I'll check it out myself actually.
They're on a
because-
second
are they?
season now.
I was watching it as
Well,
it was
it's been
coming out.
it was canceled.
Oh, really?
The second
Oh.
season is the final season.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Okay.
Fuck then.
But I mean, at least it wraps up. Like I think it tells
Oh,
the
so you've
story
seen the
that it
whole
wants
thing?
to tell. There's no
good.
cliffhanger. Sorry?
Jim's seen the whole
No,
thing?
I haven't. No,
Oh.
I haven't seen it. But I read the reviews for the show when it was coming out because I thought it was interesting. But I haven't seen it yet.
It's worth giving a shot. See if you like it.
I might do that. I think it's interesting, and like I like the premise of like if a Kevin James style sitcom character was in real life, he would be the worst person imaginable.
Yeah, basically his life is a sitcom, but when she leaves his presence, it's just the worst life.
Yeah.
It's a super depressing drama. All right. Well, are you finished your level up?
Yes, you could tell because I said that's
Oh.
how I leveled up. Let's go on to the quest log.
Called
Yeah,
out.
John's ignoring my existence tonight, and I
Wow.
don't like it. I'm Mr. Cutie.
Oh, sorry, Mr.
Thank
Cutie.
you.
It's because
Maybe
you stopped
he's so
doing the Mr.
intimidated
Cutie
by how
voice.
cute you are.
I was telling listeners, if you want to know why I can't stop doing this terrible and obnoxious British accent, it is my daughter's fault. She's been doing it to me all week, and now I've started doing it in public and everything. It's bad. It's real bad. Somebody stop me. And not the Jim Carrey way.
Mr. Cutie's famous catchphrase, somebody stop me.
But not the Jim Carrey way.
Yeah. Somebody stop me.
That's the Jim Carrey way. I don't get it.
I'm doing the mask faces, but the listeners cannot actually see it. But it's very good.
Classic podcast.
Yeah. I mean,
bit.
honestly, I was stunned into silence at how his face turned green. How did you do that?
Yeah, it was really impressive, actually. An impressive impression.
Beep boop beep boop boop. It's the Codex. Vanessa,
On
lead us
Jim
into the
Carrey way.
Codex.
Oh, yes. Hello. It's time to talk about Mass Effect 3.
Whoa.
Triple.
Last time, we did rescue the female Krogan Eve from her imprisonment on the Solarian homeworld. And now it's time to get to work with the liberation of Tuchanka. Why do we want to liberate Tchunka? To get the Krogans to join the Turians in the battle against the Reapers on their homeworld. Are
we liberating Tuchanka, or we're just curing the genophage, right?
Well, Tchunka has a few problems going on, one of which is the genophage. Another of which is a bomb.
Bombs.
Secret
I can't
bomb.
wait. When Matthew stepped out, but we got to talk about Matthew's bomb experience because the game went crazy on him, and that's amazing.
I don't know what happened.
so-
I kind of accidentally did the Omega DLC, I guess, which I did not realize what I was getting into there. Woof. And then,
And that's a long
yeah. And then when
It's so
I got
long.
back, I had a letter from Rex, which these two, Vanessa and Jim, did not believe me, and I had to take a picture of it and send it to them. Like an old man with his phone, taking a picture of his TV. Yep. Where Rex was like,
There's a button on your controller.
Rex was like, they
button
dropped
right
a bomb
there.
on us, and we don't know what happened, but Tuchanka is lost, and there's so many dead, and it's real bad. And I was like, oh, shit. And I ran over, and on the ship, I ran over to the war room, and I talked to Rex, and he didn't fucking say anything about it. And then I went back to the mission select, and the bomb mission was still there. So I was like, what are you talking about, dude? And then I did the bomb mission,
So-
and it didn't
Rex is
explode.
just like pranking or teasing you. He's
Rex
like,
is the
I told
kind-
you
Yeah,
there's a
weird.
bomb on the planet. Then you went and like fucked off to Omega forever when there's this bomb counting down. I'm going to send you a message and just show you how it feels to fail for once. So that's what's
And
going to
Rex
Man,
happen.
you
is the kind
start
of
that Omega
coworker-
DLC, you better strap in because you're gonna be
Yeah, I
around
had
for a
fucking
while.
no idea what I was getting myself into with that. It took.
Even though Jim on the episode before did warn everyone about
Did he?
what
did.
Okay, but I was like half asleep
was,
last
yep.
episode.
That's true.
I'm
That's
sorry
true,
that
'cause
we
it went
record so
on
late at
5
night,
hours.
and it was a 3-hour episode, so it was like midnight, and I was tired and sleepy.
That's a beautiful, perfect English
Thank
accent.
you. My daughter has been watching Call Me Chris, which is a YouTuber who actually is pretty fucking funny. The woman makes me laugh, and she's Canadian, not English, but she does a lot of accents, and one of them is her terrible English accent.
It's me terrible English.
No, now that was fucking offensive, John. You need to apologize to England and all of the English-speaking people in the world.
Sorry, I've got my British passport now, so I'm allowed to do this.
I think that when you go to England, you should talk like that while you're there.
Classic. I can make fun of the English because
should.
I'm English. Only on a
Uh-huh.
technicality.
It's because my parents from there.
I mean, that's
so
not really a technicality. It's actual citizenship.
Rex is one of those coworkers who will not come up to you, even though you're on the ship with him, and tell you what he wants. He'll email you, even though he's right there and you're right there.
Very
That
passive
always-
aggressive.
I hate
This is
that.
the opposite.
I want someone to talk
This
to me.
is the opposite of what I want out of my coworkers. Don't ever fucking come talk to me. Don't ever come talk to me. Send me one email with all of the necessary information, and that's it. Don't you dare come fucking talk to me.
Talk to me. You know, the worst is when Matthew doesn't do the dishes at the Square Root's house, and he expects us to
Email me.
send him a Teams appointment to do the dishes and not talk to him in person
That's very
about it.
true.
Yeah. Well, the dishes fester.
Sorry for liking humanity,
Yuck.
Matthew.
Yeah.
Although I did have a coworker at one point who would email me and then come tell me about the email. Although, admittedly, I don't check my emails that often, so it's understandable. But pick one or the other.
Yeah, I do love the send an email and then have a phone call to say, did you see the email? Or I just sent you an email.
See, the problem is Gen Z won't get these jokes that we're making, our Gen Z audience, because there's no more jobs left for them.
There's no jobs, and if there are, they're all using WhatsApp and Slack. I don't know what
I use Slack.
those are.
I use Teams.
Did you just say that you use Slack?
I use Teams as well. It's
Yeah.
garbage, and I fucking hate it.
Yeah, I also use
I
Teams.
don't answer my phone
Yeah, Teams is
for a
junk.
reason, folks, and it's not so that you can try and Teams me.
So that was our 4 competing stand-up bits about work emails. So, so now, fasten your seatbelt. It's going to be a bumpy night because this Tchunker is all about
Hang on.
Eve.
We
Yeah,
got
he
a
said Tuchanka.
Important update. It's 55 minutes. We're finally about to start talking about the Tchunker. It's going to go fast, gang. It's going to go fast. I'm not editing a 3-hour episode.
Matthew's staring at us in our eyes.
I'm just telling you
all
that
at
if this thing
once.
takes 3 hours, I'm editing the
Pointing.
first 2 hours, and the rest is just what it is. I don't care.
Yeah.
But I'll be canceled.
Yeah, that's true. It is.
That's true. You gotta run a pass
Yeah.
over Vanessa's jokes. There's
I'm just
so much cutting.
workshopping new material.
Well, she's
That's why Vanessa always sounds like hell. Oh, there, Matthew.
Vanessa.
Because we're just piecing her together into a pleasant.
Vanessa
version.
sent us all.
Yeah, the other day in the group chat, I put a picture of a book in, and it was an old book of ethnic jokes, and I was like, Vanessa, this is your favorite book.
He did.
Vanessa sent us an article that she had written about how she's quitting stand-up to find a husband with balls.
Yeah, I wrote an article that's going viral about
Oh yeah,
how
it's going viral.
how I wanted to find a husband on the stand-up circuit, but everybody's too woke these days. Seek that out. I think it's on Chortle, the website that covers UK stand-up
The
comedians.
first 2 paragraphs of that thing, I was like, this has to be satire, and then I realized it wasn't, and I was like, this is so sad.
It was really
What is it about
sad.
people with
It's-
worms in their brains
Also,
thinking
did
that
you
jokes are only funny if they're at the expense of a minority or?
Well, all 70s comic book or comedy book authors. That's all they had. That's all they
Yeah.
had, Matthew.
Yeah.
My laptop looks like it's about
Well,
to
I
lose
also,
it. What's happening? It's like blinking at me. Stop blinking at me. This thing's
I
fucking
hadn't
new.
heard of this woman before, but someone said that they found this review of a show of hers where they had gone to the show and barely anyone was there, but it was free, so they kind of were sitting in the back in case they wanted to leave, and they didn't know what her material was. So then they tried to leave, and the doors were locked, like they couldn't get out. And she started screaming about, "Why are you leaving? Why are you trying to leave?" And they had to unbar the doors
That's a
while she
nightmare.
came running down the aisle to yell at them about them leaving. And she's like, "Why are you leaving?" And they said, "We just had to tell her because we don't think you're funny." And then she went off about woke, the Liberace
Sure,
ruining
it's everybody
comedy.
else's fault that they don't find your jokes funny. It's not your jokes. Don't do any self-reflection. Maybe the kids are wrong. No. Maybe I'm wrong. No, it's the kids. Whatever. You know what I'm talking about. Anyway, let's talk about Tuchanka.
Eve is dressed like a benign Jesuret, which I mentioned last time. I really like the Krogan shaman female outfit. I think it's super cool and kind of gives you like there's more to Krogans than just being dumb warrior guys. Like they had this whole other side to them, which has been kind of suppressed due to the Solarians and everything. Although she kind of talks about that. She's like, no, they kind of sucked even before the Solarians kept nuking each other.
Yeah, they said that they did. They ruined the planet themselves by nuking each other.
Yeah.
So anyway, the Solarian ambassador doesn't want us to help the Krogan at all.
Man, the Solarian ambassador is a real jerk.
Jackass. It's crazy to me. Like, the first time somebody tells you, I don't think I should genocide these people, you should stop trying to convince them to genocide people, because it doesn't look well in your favor. Like, how come as Shepard, I don't have an option to be like, hey, stop talking about genociding these people, or we're fucking done talking. That's it. Don't let them keep going and explain why they think you should genocide these people.
Nobody's trying to genocide them. They're just trying to cull their numbers.
Oh, the Illusive Woman's here,
like
everybody.
If you have a problem with deer or pigs.
The Illusive Woman.
I mean, imagine if your home was overrun by some invasive species, and we just want to make sure that there's enough room for humans. And if the Krogans are able to freely breed, then there just won't be enough room for everyone. So really, it's better for everyone that they're not genocided, let's say, regulated.
The Solarian ambassador tells you that they sabotaged the shroud where you have to go fix.
Well, that's in a second. That's after you start that mission.
I was just reading the top of the Tchunker list on the notes.
Well, anyway, it was actually, I thought it was the ambassador, but as I did more research writing these notes, it turns out she's the Delatros, which is like the leader, the elected leader.
Oh, cool. So the president.
She's like,
oh, that's right.
Yeah. So there's a few things before you start curing the genophage. Basically, Urdnot Wreav, who I'm sure everyone else has on their ship.
Everyone's favorite Krogan.
Urdnot Wreav did show up in this Tchunker for me, but I have Urdnot Rex.
He will not help the Turians until the genophage is cured. Like, he's like, nope, not going to go to Palaven, not going to help him. We're going to cure this genophage. But before you do this mission, you have to do one of two other missions, because the Solarian scientist on your ship, Padok Wiks, of course, this joke only works if you...
It's Morden. We don't know their names. You got to give them more recognizably knockoff names, like Floridin.
That would be hilarious if it was like Morden, but with two O's. Like
Morden.
Or like instead of Morden, his name is Jordan.
Yeah.
I mean, Urdnot Rex and Urdnot Wreav is pretty much. That's
pretty close.
Yeah.
So you won't actually be able to launch the mission until you've done one of two prerequisites. One of them, weirdly enough, is the what is it called? The Attican Traverse mission with Dagg / Grunt. Grunt if you played the game well, Dagg if you're me.
I had Grunt.
Or you do the Turian platoon / Turian bomb mission first, then you can do the genophage cure
Well, that's an
mission.
interesting structure.
I did all four of them.
I did as well.
I did. Well, I did Attican Traverse, and then Cerberus Abductions, and then I went to Tchunka, and the first thing I did was the genophage. I was like, oh, I know this is a longish one, so let's get this out of the way.
Cerberus one is a joke. They have taken over a giant cannon, and you fly into a fucking 4x4 room and murder a bunch of Cerberus guys. The end. That's fucking
It's one of those, it's the N7 missions are repurposed multiplayer maps where you fight 3 waves of enemies, and that's it.
All right.
The Turian Commandos
Is that what's
one
going
is,
on with them?
The Turian Commandos one
You
is...
said the same thing last episode, Vanessa.
John, stop throwing this in our faces. The Turian Commandos one is interesting because...
But you said the exact same thing.
We learned that the Turians buried a planet-killing bomb in Tuchanka,
Mm-hmm.
and now they've decided to go dig it out, I guess?
Well,
that
it's just
mission is
it's a
fun.
just in
They
case
don't-
bomb.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but
it's
they
a whoopsie,
planted it there
uh-oh.
like hundreds of years ago or whatever. And
Yeah,
now they're
and now
secretly trying to
Cerberus
get it
has
out.
found it.
Yeah, and this mission starts because of, remember Primarch Victus, the Primarch that you put into place
Sure
in
do.
the first Tchunker? His fail son is a piece of shit. And everyone knows it. Everyone just sees him and can tell. He used to be a piece of shit. He's a terrible leader who likes his sloppy steaks.
I don't...
Yeah,
Why is he a piece of
uh,
shit, though? His hair is
I don't
pushed
think he
back.
is. He's a nepotism baby, but
Mm-hmm. He's a
He's
failed
not
son
the
who got a bunch
worst.
of his soldiers killed because
He
he
lives
chose.
for New Year's Eve.
But all the soldiers are like, this guy sucks. He's just a total piece of shit. Don't trust him. He has got all of us killed because he like made the wrong call as soon as he got onto Tchunka and like steered the car and did a 5-point turn right around a Reaper. So gave him lots of time to zap all his friends. But we got to save
got
this
all
guy
our
because
tables dirty. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. No, the fight that wasn't a reference. That was a joke about how bad he is at driving.
Oh, okay.
The car.
I
It
thought
wasn't
I'd
a reference.
finally cracked
to...
this this reference thing.
I
but-
was doing
What's
a
his
new,
what's
this is a
his
fresh bit.
job?
He's a lieutenant.
He's like
Tables?
Yeah, he's the lieutenant of this.
Can't not know how to hear any more about tables.
He's the lieutenant, and his job was to get all these troops, and he was not qualified for it, and he was getting a bunch of them killed, and so Shepard is like finding his mission is to rescue this guy, but he first has to rescue on the way a bunch of other dudes. And this mission has a bunch of harvesters, which I'm sure Jim loved because they love meat.
Oh yeah, love harvesters.
Mhm.
Actually, I really like I like fighting them here because like I felt like the game should have given me an achievement for killing all the harvesters before they flew away.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I killed all of them.
This game,
But eventually they will just leave.
I figured out this game's one weird trick to making me not think it's very good. And it's that every third mission or so, they're like, here are some literal cannons that are going to shoot you no matter where you're at in the level while you're supposed to be trying to take out this wave of dudes. And I hate it. And I don't understand why they do it. It's stupid and bad and dumb.
Matthew,
Yes.
there's a shotgun. I think it's like an Asari. It's called the Venom shotgun. It shoots grenades and just kills everything in 2 hits. Like, I'm playing on hard. It kills everything in 2 hits, Matthew. You should get this
Right.
shotgun.
I'm going to be getting that shotgun.
Yeah, you have to find it in one of the shops on the Citadel, but it's called the Venom. It's an Asari weapon. Get it. It makes the game so easy, and I love it because like it does a first blast, and then from that blast reflects 4 more grenades from it, and just
wow.
will kill the first thing in 1 hit, and then anything around it. And I just like leveled up that gun to maximum. And even though I don't use shotguns, like I'm an engineer, I still put it on because everything
This-
dead.
This sounds like a gun that a little baby boy would come up with. Like, you know, when you're a little baby boy and you're playing a game and you're like, and then there's a shotgun, but instead of shooting bullets, it shoots grenades, and it shoots 5 grenades at once, and then those grenades explode into 5 little mini grenades, and the mini grenades go from everywhere that the 5 grenades went, and it can shoot anything in 2 hits.
Mm-hmm. It's true. And I love it because I'm playing on hard and love a challenge. And by challenge, I mean finding the cheapest weapon in the game that's super broken.
Yeah, you like to play easy mode, but via game mechanics, not via
Yep.
sliders.
Yep, that's how I won Final Fantasy VIII. It was perfect. You find the Victus guy, And he's like, so, oh yeah, the Cerberus is planting a bomb here. And then 5 minutes later, he's like, okay, when I said a Cerberus is planting a bomb, I meant us 200 years ago, just in case the Krogans try to rebel again. Although I don't know how does that work as a deterrent if they didn't know about the bomb?
I don't think
not
it's
really a
meant to be a
Not a
deterrent.
deterrent.
I think it's a fail-safe.
Okay. Either way, it was a bad idea, because now the Cerberus is going to activate the bomb so that they can kill all the Krogans and make sure they do not join the war effort against the Reapers for some reason.
Yeah, we still don't really get Cerberus's deal because
they're
in the
Nazis?
last game, they were very anti-Reaper.
Now they're like, Reapers are actually cool. It's sort of like the Americans, some American establishment right now and the Russians, where they're like, before they're like, Russia is the worst. Now they're like, oh, actually, maybe we should be cool with Russia and just be friends.
Yeah.
Because we owe them a lot of money. Like, a lot of money.
So stupid.
Politics.
Politics.
Anyway, we go find the bomb, and Lieutenant Failson climbs up to the top of the bomb, and he does dismantle it at the cost of his own life.
There's no way of saving him, right? Vanessa?
No.
No.
Because I was really nice to Failson when I found him. He's like, I got all my troops killed. And I was like, oh, buddy, in war, you have to make some tough decisions sometimes. And why don't you just
I said
tell
too.
the remaining troops that you're sorry? And he did. He gave a little speech. And then they were all like, oh, you're a good lieutenant after all, Nepo baby.
Mm-hmm. You know what I've noticed? This game, compared with the first two Mass Effects, doesn't have a whole lot of the charm or intimidate options. And I think one of them showed up for this, and there's one at the end of this Tchunker. But I've only seen a couple of them so far.
Yeah, it's sparse. And then Andromeda doesn't have it at all. They have instead a sort of strange personality system where you can choose
Like a
like
tone indicator, right?
Yeah, tone indicator. And then I think that impacts some of the dialogue that you don't choose throughout the game later. Like just the attitude that
And it
Ryder
also,
takes
one
on.
thing that does, like, as much as I don't like the lack of indoor and urban environments in that game, I do like that based on your, and it's a bit like Dragon Age too, I think kind of does this. And what's that game I keep wanting to play and the listeners will never vote for it? The one by the people that made Vampire the Masquerade, Alpha Protocol. So basically, if you make a lot of the same tones, people will treat you like serious or silly or whatever the other options are. And like in mine, no
41
one,
too, right?
because I always
Yeah,
chose the
horny.
like goofy answer. They don't treat Ryder like a good captain at the end. They're always like, you're an idiot and you're just going to make jokes.
You talking about Sonic the Dark Brotherhood?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Sonic, the Dark Brotherhood.
When's that going to get a Switch remaster?
Yeah, I would 100% play that for the show. That would be amazing.
Yeah, me too, but I don't want to play it on the 3DS. Thank you.
Well, it's a regular DS game as well.
John,
It
So
hurts
you
Matt's little fingers.
you can play regular DS games on the 3DS, John.
Well, I didn't want the listeners to like write an actually email at you. I want to.
You
save
like to get those
and spare
actuallys
you.
in for yourself. Anyway, we cure the genophage. End of Tchunker. Good night.
No, we didn't. Vanessa, so now that we've disarmed this bomb and are no longer going to kill all the Krogans, tell us about this mission.
Tell us about Mish.
Curing the genophage.
Do you want to talk about the alternate mission of going to see Grunt/Punt?
Oh, we'll talk about that at the end. I got
Okay.
that at the end there.
Makes sense. So to cure the genophage, we have to go to Genophage Tower, which is where the original genophage was released. It was released into the atmosphere, like pollen, I guess. And we're going to utilize the same technology to release and spread the cure to all the Krogan on Tuchanka. So we make our way towards the tower, but there's a problem. And the problem
first you get a phone
is-
call
First, you get a phone call
Mhm.
from
from
Albatross, right?
Dalatros Linden,
who is
the Solarian leader.
right.
And she's like, hey, so you're gonna go do this. I know what you're doing. And if you do it, like, that'd be bad. So how about you, like, we say we're gonna do it and then don't do it. Because we, like,
Yeah.
totally snuck in a failsafe in case someone tried to do this exact thing you're gonna do. That will make it not work. And Padok Wiks does not know about it.
Yeah, it's pretty great because my shepherd has been like procuring the genophage the whole time. And she's been like, well, if you do this, you won't have Solarian support. So there. And you're like, fine, I don't care. And then she calls up and she's like, by the way, if you can just like overheat the cure when you're dispersing it, the stupid Krogan will think it worked, but it won't actually work. It's going to be hilarious. They're going to think that they're cured
What a
and then
goof.
it's not going to work.
It's a good bit. She likes her practical jokes.
She does. She's like, it's going to be so funny. Like, they're going to start trying to have babies, and then they'll continue to have stillbirths, and they'll be like, oh, they got us.
Wah, wah, wah.
Jokes.
It's a real sad trombone.
It's a rough joke there, Vanessa.
Yeah. It was a good joke. It's the kind of thing that you have to edit out of the show so I don't get canceled.
No.
Hey, I didn't write this game. You know, that's just what the game's about. So we want to make our way there, but there's a problem. And the problem is one of those Reaper Beepers. The Reaper Beeper has taken position over this atmospheric tower. And it's just kind
spire?
of like hanging out, I guess.
Those
Sorry?
guys are jerks. Yeah, the
They're
spire.
jerks. It's a tower
I thought it was called
spire.
the Shroud.
Shroud, that's right.
It's the shroud.
Yeah.
It's not a shroud though. It is a tower and or spire.
Tower
But
spire
it's called
shroud.
the Shroud.
Yeah. Because it
I've ne-
shrouds the planet in life-giving anti-genophage
Oh,
juice.
I get it.
Ideally.
Just like the shard is called the shard because it spews glass shards into the air that cover the city of London.
Isn't the Shroud, isn't the purpose of it, like, they call it like an atmospheric processor or whatever? Didn't the Turians or Solarians build it to help
Yeah,
repair?
but I think isn't that also how they distributed the genophage?
It
I
is,
feel
yeah.
Is
like,
it?
yeah.
Oh, okay.
So it was like one of their
Oh, that's
presents
right, because
to
the
the
Daltros
Krogan.
says that, yeah.
When they were trying to give the Krogan technology so they'd come fight the Rachni, they gave them this planetary atmospheric controller, and then later they used it to distribute the genophage.
Naughty.
So there's a Reaper hanging out around it. So we figure, okay, we're going to have to go in with a whole bunch of Krogan and have them just like bomb the heck out of this Reaper while we make our way to the tower in our swanky little car.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. It's Mako time, although it's not called the Mako. It's called the... Is it a Mako though in this sequence?
No,
not
it's like
our
a
other
big-
car.
You don't do any. At least I didn't do any driving in this. Did
No,
I?
you don't. You're just
no.
like
Yeah.
you're in the
look,
car.
These look more like tanks. I mean, they're like
Yeah.
8-wheelers like the Makos
Oh,
are.
they're
but-
like big ATVs.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Yeah.
they're big trucks.
Yep.
Big
So we're
truck.
trucking our way.
No. Nobody? No, okay.
I don't know what that was. We're trucking our way there, but the Reapers have broken up the road, so there's no way through. So Shepard and a small squad decides to go on foot through these ruins, and
Well,
these are
hang on.
ruins of.
We don't decide to do that. A plane does crash into our convoy. and Rex hauls ass out of there, leaving us behind, and so we kind of have to get out of the way of the destruction, and we go into these ruins.
Right.
It's actually a pretty cool scene of the plane hitting the convoy and one of the big Tonka truck thingies like flipping up into the air. It was neat.
Oh, that was cool.
I hope everyone was okay.
Apparently so.
So many casualties.
This is a very grim game, really.
Well, in the grim darkness
overall
of the
tone
far
it
future.
is the grim darkness of the far future, which is quite a departure in some ways. Although I guess the series has always been a little grim, it felt somehow brighter to me. It's kind of a Star Trek-y-ish future where everything looks nice and pretty, but it's got a dark secret lurking beneath the surface.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense that this one is a grimmer game considering it's the end point of this trilogy and this, and the galaxy's being destroyed.
Armageddon.
Hard to stay lighthearted in face of absolute fucking destruction of every living species in the galaxy.
Tell me
I do
about
think
it.
the game would have been better if it had some of that
I agree.
Mass Effect goofiness in it. I do miss that.
So I brought what's the name of Four Eyes?
Javik.
Zavik. I brought Javik and I brought James to this mission.
I haven't used James since the first time it made me use him.
Me neither.
Fuck James.
I
like James.
I use him because I'm a very weak character class and I'm playing on hard, so I like if I bring Liara and Eve, they just die. They just die instantly. So I need to have people to protect me
I like to bring
while
Liara
I'm making
and
my
Eve.
robots. Yeah, they're and I think Eve. Who do you think would have the best dialogue for this mission? Because James is the one who's like, and totally out of character, is like, wow. So I guess the Krogans did have culture.
Yeah, I had
I
Liara,
think-
and she was like,
Yeah.
what the fuck? I would like to study this, please.
Yeah, I think Liara as a archaeologist is the most interesting person to bring.
I brought Javik
It seems-
and Liara, and Javik was like, it was basically like, who cares about the remnants of a failed civilization?
Yep. Yep. That's what James was the most interested in archaeology there in my group.
Yeah, I think I had Javik as well, who's just like a downer all the time. He's really getting on my nerves.
Yeah, I started swapping him
into
out
him.
for a lot of this. Like, I was using him pretty heavy, but I wanted to try out some of the other dialogue, and I like having Liara around. She's pretty great. And then I like swapping out Eve and Garrus.
I gave Javik and James the particle cannon that fires the like deadly beam. It's like a Reaper cannon, and I gave and the shotgun that shoots the grenades. They mostly use the particle beam though. Sometimes
That
James
particle
switches.
rifle, though, has such low damage.
Does
yeah,
it?
it's not great.
Oh, that's a bummer. I just leveled it way up because I was like, let me try this thing out. Because I've been using the Matic, which is a single shot gun,
Yeah.
and it's got
I
high
used
damage,
the-
but I'm tired of pulling the trigger.
I use that like burst assault rifle a lot because the damage is really high and it can hold a shit ton of ammo.
Ooh.
And
is it like a
just
Halo
works really
scout
well.
rifle? I like this
Yeah,
Halo
that's what it
scout
looks like.
rifle.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
By the
I didn't
time
know
I
what
was
this is. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
by the time I was done with this game, I really was not using weapons at all. So I played as a biotic shepherd, and I had like 200% charge minus
speed.
200% charge time for
Oh,
my
like
towers.
cooldown, yeah.
So I could just use throw and lift and singularity over and over and over again.
I got
It's basically
slam.
almost turning it into
I use
control.
warp and cryo a lot.
I got slam, and that one's pretty fun because it yanks them up into the air and then fucking smashes them into the ground. But it's hard to catch people with it for some reason. Anyway, Vanessa, tell us more about curing the genophage.
Well, these ruins are very interesting because they're from a Krogan society pre-nuclear annihilation, and they include a lot of artwork on the walls and indication of a sort of thriving Krogan culture that we haven't seen a lot of. So as we discussed, if you have Liara, she's very excited about it. Javik doesn't care. But a lot of the artwork that you encounter seem to depict a very, very large Thresher maw.
Karlos.
Thresher maws as...
Yeah, Karlos.
Yeah, Karlos the Thresher maw. The mother of all Thresher maws. And as we're sort of making our way through the ruins, we have intermittent radio contact with the tank convoy, and they start discussing some insane plan that they have to get rid of the Reaper. And
Well, they don't
we...
fear him. Nothing.
They don't fear the
I
Reaper,
didn't say-
Vanessa.
They do actually. They're very much afraid of it, and that's why they refuse to go near it without some kind of insane plan. They have lost a lot of their little cannon ships, and so they feel that that is not going to work anymore.
Yeah, we also had an airstrike
so-
going that got fucked up, as mentioned earlier, when it smashed into our convoy.
Right. So things just really aren't going well. Finally, Shepard and team get to the surface, and you're in this sort of temple-like complex. And it includes 2 of those big gong bells that we saw during Grunt's personal mission in Mass Effect 2, where you have to go and use the gong to summon different enemies to fight, all culminating in a battle with a Thresher Maw.
The Maw Hammers.
So we head up there. We use the gong bells. We're under attack by Reaper forces the entire time. And
This is Eve's plan. She's like, these Thresher Maws are going to be killed by the Reapers. It's just like all of us. So
yeah.
it has reason to help us.
Yep. She's like, Thresher Maws, this is their planet too. These ruins are super cool. They show how Krogan were super cool. Basically when it wasn't just a patriarchy.
Yeah, Eve's like, we got to make this a matriarchy again because the patriarchy sucked.
She ain't wrong.
You're saying, Jim?
I thought this part was really difficult.
Jim was saying that he's pro-patriarchy.
When you're... Yeah.
It's really difficult to support a woman government because
We're just going to
they get
war
their
over anything
beautiful-
if it's that time of the month. You
Yeah.
know what I'm talking about?
It was very difficult for me to accept what she was. No, this part there's like 20 of those big brute things in this section. I just ended up having to run past them because they kept killing me.
why don't you use your 2-shot shotgun?
I don't use shotguns, John. They're too heavy and they slow my recharge time.
Boop, boop, dead. Boop, boop, pop.
I also feel that they sound a little irresponsible. Like, it would be difficult to keep accidental civilian injuries down to a minimum with that kind of spread.
They do take out your teammates a lot.
Nice. So yeah, we're under a wave. There are a bunch of those brutes and things like that. In addition, you have the Reaper firing its little Reaper eye in your direction. So there's a lot going on and a lot to sort of navigate. The ground is giving way in certain places because the Reaper is just like zapping the heck out of this temple. But if you do manage to bang both the gongs, who comes to get it on but Karlos, the mother of all Thresher Maws?
Why is this thing named Karlos?
Well, technically it's not.
It's Calros.
Yeah.
It's Carlos, pretty much. So
It's
Yeah.
Karlos.
So Karlos is summoned, and I believe that then one of the convoy trucks, I'm not sure if it's the one that has Eve and Rex in it or not, sort of gets Karlos to chase it. And there's a merry little running around with the Thresher Maw chasing them down, and eventually they lead it to where the Reaper is, And the Thresher Maw is not happy to see this Reaper.
I loved
And
this.
they thought it was just going to distract the Reaper. That was their aim, was just to like get the heat off them for a second.
Karlos
Yeah.
is a big worm. Karlos is a sandworm, like a dune sandworm.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like one of those really gross like house centipedes, but
Oh,
enormous.
yuck.
It's great. I loved this part of this game. It jumps underground and then it jumps out and just chomps. It just chomps on the Reaper's head. It's so fucking
Yeah,
funny.
it like it wraps itself around it like a sneaky snake, and
Drags it
the Reaper's
underground.
like, oh golly, what's going on? And they just start to tangle with each other and roll around, and the Reaper is removed from the tower.
Yep, it brings it underground and then just disappears, and you just hear a big old crunch under there.
Good stuff.
Which is great because it clears our way to go finally cure the genophage.
Yay! But the building's pretty rough. It's in
It's
bad
pretty
shape.
rough because it's had a Reaper sitting on top of it. So it seems that in order to disperse this cure, somebody's going to have to go up to the roof and do it from there. You have a couple of choices you can make as you enter the building with Morden, in my case.
Mm-hmm.
The first one is whether or not you're going to tell him about the Solarian trick.
I actually did that
To
much
sabotage the cure?
earlier.
Yeah, I did that on the car. I guess Vanessa
did
was
you?
like playing coy.
I told him immediately too.
Yeah.
Also,
I feel like I didn't have the option to tell him immediately, but maybe I did, and he just implements
Maybe you
it
just
here.
like
He's
playing things close to the chest, you know?
yeah.
Living life a quarter mile at a time.
in my game, when we got to this point, Morden informed me that Eve was dead.
Oh no!
Yeah, I heard that too. She
Oh, no.
super died.
I guess that if you didn't
Yeah.
save the research in the second game, she's too injured and dies here. But if you did save the research, she's
Yeah.
not as injured when you save her and is able to survive this.
Yeah,
Apparently,
I
like,
saved the research,
the-
and she's fine.
Yeah, the therapy that they give to like try and cure the genophage, it messes with their immune system. So a lot of the patients died. That's what happens. So if you don't save Malin's data, then that's what happens. She's dead.
Yeah, it's a bummer. Rex
How
is
horrible.
like, we're fucked. And I got a funeral and everything.
Wow, sad.
And Rex straight up was like,
Yeah,
probably she could have united the clans, but I guess we'll just probably eradicate every other species after this.
Reeve is like, we're going to kill everybody. And you're like, are you really going to kill everybody? He's like, maybe. But anyway, that all happens after the next bit. What happens next, Vanessa?
What happens next is Morden / what's your guy's name? Phineas Ferb.
Padok Wiks. It's there in the notes.
Morden and or Phineas Ferb take a look at the controls. So did all of you decide to warn him about the sabotage?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Now,
As did-
normally Bim Janks does the baddest thing possible, the worst choices.
Uh-huh.
But I really like the Krogans, and I don't want to be shitty.
Wow.
I don't like this one. So I could have played the other way and saw what happens if you're a real jerk, but I didn't do it because I like the Krogans. Sorry. I couldn't be that
okay.
bad.
Sometimes you have to go with your heart and not with your role play character. And people aren't one dimensional. Nobody is all Paragon or all Renegade. We all have our moments.
Do you ever choose a renegade option?
Yes, once or twice. It seems like it doesn't. Well, I don't think I've ever chosen the option, but I do occasionally use like the Renegade trigger
Mhm.
if that pops
Yeah,
up.
those are fun.
Because they're really fun.
They're much more tame than I would think. Like it's usually just the same version. Like it's usually just Shepard being impolite.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
I wanted Shepard to be meaner if I'm gonna hit that renegade trigger.
There's no Shepard sticking a wrench in the back of a mechanic.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, because I did do that the last time I played 2. I couldn't help myself. And I think in the Citadel DLC, you have the option to use some renegade answers and things like that without really any negative connotations.
Yeah.
It's more just hanging out and goofing around with your friends. So in my case, Morden says, well, this is great. Like, I'll just disable the sabotage, but in order to do that, I have to go up to the tippy top of the tower. And probably I'm not going to come back. Okay, bye. And then Shepard's like, excuse me, wait a minute. What are you doing? You can't do this. And Morden delivers his famous line, had to be me. Someone else could have gotten it wrong. Which is really, I mean, Morden's arc is great, I think. From a creator of the genophage to a cure of the genophage, he really goes through this reckoning with his work and morality, and it's fantastic. It's a great scene.
There is a renegade path that does lead to Morden not dying here.
Correct.
How does that
There
work?
is?
Yeah, you can have him not die, but it's like messed up, I think.
I think if you don't tell him about the sabotage, he doesn't see a reason to go up to the top of the thing. Right?
Oh, that's why it's messed
Oh.
up. Okay.
Yeah, because he thinks he can deploy it from the ground floor, but in order to disable the sabotage, he has to go up. So up Morden goes to the top of the stairs, or elevator in this case, and he starts to work on his deployment protocol. And while he does, he starts to sing a little song to himself. I am a very model of a scientist delirium.
Callback.
And now those are very good area.
Mhm.
I am the very.
Why isn't he singing a Solarian song? Why is he singing a human song? They should have made a Solarian operetta that he was obsessed with and sings.
Instead of Gilbert and Sullivan.
Yes.
Yeah, they should have taken this iconic moment in gaming and made it different.
Yeah, because it kind of stunk.
How dare you
Besides,
interrupt
I
my
got
beautiful
Oh.
story of his death by fiery explosion, singing Gilbert and Sullivan to complain
you made the sound. I
about
thought
the
you were
work of
done.
light operettas.
You already went. So I thought that was the end of that part. But
That
was
is
there more
the end of
after?
that part, but there's no
Okay.
moment of silence. There's no like, hey, let's talk about how that made us feel. Jim, how did that make you feel?
I thought it was pretty cool when he blew up. Like that whole
It's
building
sick.
blows up, and because like part of me was like, oh, he'll be fine, and then the whole building explodes.
Yeah,
I
think-
don't know that I
probably won't
felt
be
sad
fine.
about it.
The,
But
I
it was
think
pretty-
the it
pretty
had
cool
to
to
be
watch.
me moment was pretty sad. I liked it, but it was like bittersweet. He was saving the world and being a big hero, but he dies.
You're all heartless. Matt, you have a heart. How did this make you feel?
What happened when Eve died?
Okay, moving on.
I was
Funny,
Padok
tell us what
Wiks,
happened in your part.
sad when
When
Eve
Paddock
died.
Wiks is so Paddock Wiks is like, all right, I have to go up there. This is a one-way trip. I'm not coming back. Sheriff's like, okay. He just walks off. It's really
Yeah, my shepherd was like,
I-
"I'll miss you, Morden. Don't do this. I can't believe it, Morden."
and Paddock is sort of talking about, well, because he's so spiritual compared with Morden, so he's sort of going on about that a bit. It's still a good scene. It just doesn't quite have the emotional connection since you haven't played 2 games with this character and
Right.
have him be like the standout beloved character from Mass Effect 2.
Yeah, he wasn't in one, was
And
he?
Nope.
no, he wasn't in one, but he was in 2.
I was not happy. I really like Morden. Now, I fucked up and he died has died every time I played Mass Effect 2. So for me, coming back and having Morden this time, I was like, oh, great. And then he died. And I was like, okay, I guess. Like, but yeah, he's just like, has to be me. Nobody else can do it. And goes and dies. He dies to save the Krogan. He's such a good boy. Morden's a good boy. I mean, when we meet him, I think he's performing illegal experiments, but he's a good boy.
He has, a non-traditional ethics set for a doctor, let's say. So, did Padok Wiks sing any songs to himself while he was up there?
He did not. He did not. He just was talking about, figuring out spirituality stuff and sort of anxious to see what happens next.
Oh, well, what happens next is he is blown up.
I meant spiritually, Vanessa.
Oh, I see. Like, where is he going to go from here?
Exactly. Yeah.
Right into the atmosphere with that genophage cure.
And there's a nice little cutscene of all the genophage snow landing, and everyone's suddenly like,
They're holding their hands out, and they're like, "Oh my god, I feel so fertile. This is I can feel my sperm count rising. Wow." In my game, because Eve is still alive, we get sort of a coda with Eve and Rex hanging out together and talking about what they're going to do. And Eve is like, yeah, the women are going to take a really active role in government from here on out. And you talk to Rex a little bit, and he's like, yeah, Eve is already saying that she wants to name one of our new clutch of babies Morden after we have one. And he's like, I'm trying to talk her out of it.
He said that to me, except it wasn't about Eve. It was just about when he finally has kids. And he was like, maybe one of the girls.
Yeah, he does say he's going to name a girl Morden.
Did any of you get the bit of dialogue with Eve where she explained that most Krogan are named after like the yelly sounds the dad made the night before or something when he was drunk? And maybe that's just for Wreav, because Shepard's like, so Erdnot Wreav is just something his drunken dad yelled before he was born. She's like, yep, don't tell him that though, he'll be real mad.
So the night before, not during conception, which is what I thought you were initially saying.
Oh,
No.
That's what I thought too. Yeah.
Oh, that's way hotter.
Yeah.
Here's my child.
Son.
And here's yes, mommy.
Yeah. This is my son. I'm sorry, daddy.
This is my daughter, Milkers.
So, that's that. We've cured the genophage, and everything's happy.
This is my daughter, Daddy. Or mommy. Say what you want to say. Anyway.
My son, oh God.
My son, I'm coming.
I was going to say that, but I would have. It made me feel gross.
Here's my daughter. Wait, stop.
Here's my son. Is that it?
Yeah.
This is my daughter. You're done already? All right. Sorry. Mr. Cutie's back, everybody. Hello.
Yay!
This is my son. It happens to every guy sometimes.
Hang on.
So, in my version, there is a funeral for Eve. She's honored as, like, the patron saint of the Krogan. She saved the entire species.
They give her a Viking
and Wreav
funeral.
is like, I'm going to kill everyone. I'm going to kill all the Solarians and all the Turians and all the humans. Wink! And then Shepard's like, you're not really going to kill everyone, are you? He's like, maybe, or maybe just saying I will. We'll keep everyone in line. And then the Turian's like, we're going to murder him.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
Wreav died here for me. He was in one of the
What?
trucks that went off the edge of like a cliff, and Rex was just like, he sucked anyway, keep going. I like
Oh
that.
yeah, that did happen to me as well. I forgot.
Rex was like, I'm going to try to make us better, So that was nice.
Yeah. He does, though, talk about how they're going to need another planet for all the babies they're about to have.
Well, it makes sense.
and
It makes
talks-
sense. Tchunka is a wasteland. It's a
Yeah.
big galaxy out there, folks.
Well, and he sort of explains that the Krogans had some other planets at one point before the genophage culled their numbers so much that the other species were able to take over these planets.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like,
He says they're like part of the negotiation is him saying like they're going to have to give some of those planets back.
yeah,
It all makes sense to me.
because we're going to need to live there with all our babies. In the game, it does talk about how Krogans can lay like 1,000 eggs at once, or have clutches of 1,000 eggs, something like that.
Jesus fucking Christ.
So that's a lot of babies.
I mean, when you have that many kids, yeah, any name you can come up with, anything.
Yeah.
Shit he said last night. Good enough, okay? Table, chair, lamp.
1-y, 2-y, 3-y, 4-y. So that's that. And our job done, we decide to head on back to the Citadel.
How did it take us 45 minutes to talk about that one goddamn paragraph? We're the worst.
We're the best. We're the only in-depth RPG podcast that does not miss a single story beat,
We missed so many story
nor
beats.
confuse any names or characters.
All right, well, listen, this Citadel thing is pretty fucking cut and dry, so let's not pick it over too much.
Don't forget about the Cerberus attack, where you can like rescue that gun. I guess we already talked
about
It's
that.
just one of those.
Pretty okay to
Yeah,
forget
We
that.
talked about all of
Yeah.
those.
All right. So we're on our way back to the Citadel, and then someone calls you. Who called y'all? Was it all Thane? Do we all have Thane?
I don't have Thane. I'd forgotten about Thane entirely, to be honest with you.
Oh
guess Thane's
my
dead.
god, that's my precious little love snake.
I'd rather
How
have
could
Morden
you?
than Thane any day.
Ew. Oh, I guess you didn't mean in the sexual sense.
I'll never
Yeah,
tell.
He did.
I got a phone call from Thane, my dying lover. I had visited him in the hospital before. I think we talked about that. He's in the same hospital as Caden, and he had been like, I'm totally gonna keep...
Awkward.
Yeah. He's like, hey, are you here to visit me? And you're like, I didn't actually know you were here. I'm here to visit Caden. And he's like, cool. So, anyway, I'm dying. And then, my shepherd did, basically jump on him in the hospital lobby. And
She did
makes
scream,
quite-
fertilize my clutch.
she doesn't, but she does make like quite a graphic like moan, I would say. Like she is all over him, lifting up her leg, like ready to just grind one out in the hospital waiting room. And afterwards, you can talk to him some more and propose spending some more private time together. And he's like, remember before when I said I was dying and that my energy like isn't what it used to be? I don't think I got another one in me, babe. Sorry. That was it. That was Thane's last stand.
And that's when you tried to make up with Caden.
That's when you're like, okay, I'm gonna go see Caden. Bye.
You fertilize my clutch. What?
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, have normal human.
Have normal human
sex.
intercourse with me. Yeah, but he did he also told me, okay, well I'm gonna keep an eye on Caden for you and make sure he's super safe because you care about him, so I care about him too. I'm totally your boyfriend. And I'm like, okay, bye.
So does the game let you hook up with both? That's my question.
Well, we'll get to that eventually, Johnny. So I got a call from Thane, and Thane's like, Hey, what's up? It's me, Thane. The Citadel is under attack by Cerberus. Everyone's like dying and shit. It's totally not cool. Why don't you come do something about that? If Thane isn't there, I guess you get a phone call from Bailey.
I got a call from the Delatros first, who told me that what's the ambassador's name or the Citadel?
Udina?
Udina. Who tells me that Udina has been like taking out huge sums of money and putting them somewhere, and they want me to meet them on the Citadel to discuss it because they think Udina is dirty. And then when we get there,
well, that's pretty typical like politician stuff. That's nothing to worry about.
Well, when we get there, the landing, the flight control isn't responding, and we find on the emergency channel a message from Bailey saying we're under attack. Meet us at CSEC. Mm-hmm. So you go in and meet Bailey, I guess, and or Thane, and then you learn that the Solarian counselor Valern is hiding in the executor's office, and you decide to go...
Or is Shield, depending on whether or not you saved the council in Mass Effect 1.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
You go shoot your way through a bunch of Cerberus troops to save the counselor?
Yeah.
And then you find the counselor hiding in this sort of cafeteria area, and everything seems all well and good, but
except
then,
she
as
says,
if from nowhere.
Well, when does she say that Udina is dirty?
I think she kind of says that right here. She's like,
yeah, it's right
Udina's
before.
Totally dirty. Udina's been sending money to Cerberus. Udina let them onto the Citadel, and now the other counselors are with him, and it's a real bad situation. We gotta save everyone.
Yeah, there's some chat about, like, you're finding bodies with, like, bullet wounds in the back of the head, and they're like, this is an execution style, this is surprise. Like, somebody is really dirty and has let this, and has, orchestrated this.
Right. It's an inside job.
Mm-hmm. So,
but before we can run off and save the council, as if from nowhere, like a ghost in the night, comes the greatest Mass Effect character of all time, Ed Hardy.
Yeah!
Matrix Boy? You talking about Matrix Boy?
Ed Hardy, the Matrix Boy.
With his wraparound sunglasses?
Yeah, Ed Hardy, the Matrix Boy, with his wraparound sunglasses. He has an actual name, which the game says over and over again, even though we've never heard of this character. And who can care?
Our best friend Kai. What's Kai Wen?
Kai Wen or something like that.
Oh, let's find out what actually.
Kai Lang.
Kai Lang.
Yeah.
I noticed...
And everyone's like, "Oh my god, it's Kai Lang!" It is very much like in Return of the Jedi, when Han Solo's like, "Oh my god, Boba Fett's here? Where's Boba Fett?" And then
Boba Fett's
like,
only the coolest. Kai Lang, he's so cool.
This character
he knows
was
like 50 forms of martial arts.
This character was designed by somebody who watched The Matrix too many times. It's like a Johnny Mnemonic cyber ninja.
Not even the Matrix, like the Matrix Part 2.
No, what was that Evanescence one? What's the one with Christian Bale?
Equilibrium.
Oh, that's Equilibrium.
Yeah, they watched Equilibrium a lot.
That's where they do gun cotton.
Honestly, what it makes me think of are like Neil Stephenson novels with like the cyber ninja, cyber samurai.
And this game already has a fucking rad cyber ninja named Kasumi.
Yeah, who the fuck is Kasumi?
We don't need this guy.
I see in the notes here it says
we need
that
Kai Lang.
Thane or maybe Solarian Kira? Matrix tussle with Ed Hardy, and if neither is alive, the counselor dies. I didn't. Yeah. The counselor died for me. Who's the Solarian?
No.
So you
you're
didn't get the
talking about?
whole. So there's
The
Karahe.
Solarian counselor.
No. Okay, so there's the Solarian counselor, but if Thane is dead, but you kept Karahe alive on Virmur at the end of Mass Effect 1, he will like uncloak and then fight, take the stab counselor was going to get.
Who's
But if you
Karate?
have Thane, he's just a Solarian guy, commando from the end of Mass Effect 1.
Oh, right.
Don't
Yeah.
remember this character.
Yeah. It's the nuke mission. It's the mission where you kill Ashley or Kaiden. Anyway, so there is... If you have Thane, though, Matthew, you missed out on the best...
I don't have
It
Thane.
actually
I have
is. It's
neither
like
of them.
It's a really good fight scene. Like, genuinely, even though Ed Hardy is a terrible character, this fight scene is pretty good. Vanessa, how amazing were your boyfriend's moves?
He was so good. Like, this Kai Lang sort of unmasks himself. He has a samurai sword. He's going right for the ambassador. And Thane is just like, and throws himself in the way of the blade, like blocks it, catches it. He starts doing hand-to-hand combat with this Kai Lang guy. He's just like, shook. I'm the world's greatest assassin. Thane has always kind of said he is, but I feel like this is the first time that we've gotten real hard evidence that he is just like really, really good at hand-to-hand combat. It like kind of goes to slow mo. He kicks him. He uses his biotics and like backslaps him across the face. He picks up a pistol. He shoots at him. He's just like, he's totally outmatching Kai Lang at every turn. And then the fight ends with a big slow motion like punch from Thane. He jumps in the air. He bears his fist down. Looks like he definitely has the upper hand, but then the sword reaches up and it pierces right into Thane's beautiful snaky side.
Not his snaky side.
Yeah, his snaky side. But he's alive, and he kind of chases him and fires a few bullets at Kai Lang, but Kai Lang escapes via car. Thing kind of props himself up against the wall, and he's like, hey, totally stabby here. I lost a lot of blood. I can't come with you. You have to go after Kai Lang. And you're like, no, Thane, I want to stay with you. And he's like, Siha. That's his special name for me, Siha. Siha, you have to go. And so you jump into a car and give chase to Kai Lang. Kai Lang escapes through the Citadel. There's a little bit of a chase scene. And then we land like in some balconies of some buildings.
Oh,
it's pretty.
You don't want to brush over that chase scene because it is straight out of The Matrix Reloaded.
I know,
right?
and it was really irritating me because I hate stupid Kai Lang and I want to be with my snake. So you tell it.
And you get, I know you've seen them once or twice before, but the future cop cars are so dumb. Like they have Earth 21st century style light bars on the top, and so Shepard's driving in one of those, and like Kai Lang drops on the car and like starts stabbing it with his samurai sword. It's pretty rad.
He
then like
Shepard
a Cadillac
right in the eye.
Escalade
He's like,
flips
I stabbed
in.
your snake and I don't even care.
What really bothered me about this scene is that they call the cars cars. Yeah, the word car does not belong in Space Mass Effect.
He's like, Kai
No,
Lang's
I'm
on
sorry.
that Cadillac Escalade, and he's just gonna drive into us.
Well, what else are they supposed to call them?
Call them ships. They're flying.
Scoots.
Hover vehicle.
Yeah.
Vrooms.
Cruiser. Call it a cruiser.
Yeah. Pods.
I guess
None of
since
these
car
options are
does
good.
from
Car
Well,
works.
car. Nah, I've changed my mind since car comes from carum, which means wheeled vehicle in Latin, and these don't have wheels. So you guys are right;
That's
they're not
true.
cars.
So he screws up the your cop car so much that it crashes into the side of the Citadel. And I actually really like this sequence of like jumping between, because you've seen these Citadel balconies all
Yeah.
through Mass Effect 1 and 2. And I think it's really cool to be like doing a chase.
I agree that
along
this is like a
those.
fun
Yeah.
little spot here where you're like running from balcony to balcony and you're fighting off waves of these enemies. And
It does introduce the like corrupted Asari here. They're the Phantoms.
oh, I didn't realize that's what those were.
Is that what? Oh no, or are those the witches?
I thought they were
Or
robots.
the
don't know who the-
banshees.
The Banshees, I think, are the corrupted Asari. I don't know what a Phantom is. I think a Phantom
Yeah.
is just a Cerberus operative with
Oh,
some
okay.
powers. Because these are Cerberus
Yeah.
troops. They aren't the
Oh,
Reaper
right, you're right,
corrupted
you're right.
troops.
Yeah. Well, they are corrupted, but not in the same
They're
way.
corrupted, and they very well may be Asari, but I think all Cerberus troops are humans.
Human, yeah. So
Because
it's like a
they're-
lady.
Racists.
Yeah. So they like do
They're
flips
humans
and
with
stuff.
like Reaper upgrades.
Yeah.
Are they sexy? I don't know. Jim, did you find them sexy? The Phantom
The
ladies?
Phantoms?
Yeah.
No. I found them really annoying, actually.
Oh.
They're an annoying enemy.
You weren't like, ooh, these sexy lady Cerberuses are.
No, I did not get horny
Oh,
from
okay.
the Phantoms.
I saw a tweet today that said, my dream is to annoy a man so much that he falls in love with me, and I think that's maybe the start of what we're seeing with Jim here.
Wait, who's annoying him? The Phantoms?
The Phantoms, yeah.
Yeah, the
Okay.
Phantoms.
Do you remember? So there was an enemy a lot like these in Half-Life 1. They were like, it's only in one building. You had these like black clad, like leather clad ladies that would do flips and stuff.
What?
And for some reason, because it was 1998, all the this is a spoiler for a future Jim full page failure. There's like the Half-Life ads in PC magazines at the time were just focusing on like these hot babes that were going to kill you. Even though this is Half-Life and not really a hot babe kind of game.
It's really not. I don't remember
Yep.
those at all.
They're in one room.
Wow. That has to be a game executive decision, right? Like,
Mhm. We need hot
yeah.
babes.
it seems
Lara
like a
Croft
good
is
game,
so
but there's
big
no
right
babes.
now.
So
All right, you keep going. I'm gonna find.
we have to do this fucking terrible elevator sequence after this, where after you run across the balconies, you get into an elevator and like you're on top of the elevator, and
Yeah, the elevator stops because Kai Lang, master hacker / ninja, has taken control of the system. So you get on top of the elevator starts moving again, and then while it's moving, some enemy troops start to sort of appear on other elevators that are coming up and down the shaft. But they're really easy to deal with because you just have to shoot the brakes on their elevator and then they plunge down.
Mhm. And you can.
There's a fun little dialogue exchange here with Bailey where you're like, we need to stop Kai Lang's elevator, and he's like, I can't stop it, but I'm making his elevator stop on every floor.
Yeah.
And then Shepard just goes, nice.
Here we go, Jim. She's smart. She has a great personality and knows that the way to a man's heart is through his sternum.
Oh my gosh.
She's
Now I'm horny.
a traitor government assassin whose only goal is to silence you permanently, and you're running out of places to hide.
so after you get through this terrible elevator sequence, you finally find Udina. And it's Udina and two of the other counselors and Kaden! That's right, Kaden is protecting
Yeah.
Udina. Kaden's a fucking traitor. Kaden is working for the Illusive Man. Kill Kaden.
How dare you?
Shoot
Oh
him
my
in the
god.
face!
You get this scene where you're
What
like,
am
Kaden, Udina's the bad guy here. And it's funny because they look at you and they're like, you must be working for Cerberus. And at least in my game, I had Liara and Garrus with me, and I was like, I just wanted to be like, do I look like I'm fucking working for fucking the human first
Well,
Nazis? Look at my
You
crew.
have
pretty much
worked
is
for
the-
Cerberus before.
Yeah. And that's because the whole game, Caden I don't know about Ashley brings it up all the time. She's like, "You're Cerberus. I don't know who you are. Cerberus reconstructed. You were dead. We knew you were dead, so I don't trust you. And now you're coming in and saying, Udina, you're just going to assassinate Udina." And it makes a lot of sense. Also, Ashley sucks. So this scene makes a whole lot more sense as Ashley.
Caden's a lot kind of chiller. Caden's a specter at this point. He has
So's Ashley.
accepted
What, you think a
job
woman
as
can't
the
be a
second
specter, Vanessa?
human specter.
You think Ashley can't be a specter because she's a woman?
Girls can't be specters. Well, they can, but I want to be the only
Because you
one.
are.
It's
Yeah.
just like I don't let other women on this podcast because
Right.
I feel like my gender is what makes me special, and if there was another woman around, I wouldn't have anything to cling to.
That's why I can't have other gays on this podcast.
Yeah. We should look to Jim and Matt and take inspiration from them. Two straight white men who are comfortable in each other's presence.
They're basically interchangeable,
Yeah.
and they're comfortable with that.
Yeah.
That's not true. Jim's not fat.
Jim's
He
tall.
could be. Get eating, Jim. That's what I say.
Anyway,
Okay, so you're Mario and Luigi. That's how we tell them apart, Vanessa. It's Mario and Luigi.
Yeah,
Think about that
one of
next
them has
time.
to wear red and one of them has to wear green, or else we
Yeah.
can't tell them apart.
it's unfortunate that we
Or
both
you could
mostly
be
just wear
Wario
black.
and Waluigi.
Yeah,
Um,
both of you are wearing black and white right now.
I'm wearing black and gray. So anyway, I don't know. Udina kind of fucks himself here. He's like, kill him, kill him, kill him. And you're like, hey, why don't you try trusting your gut? And Udina's like, fuck it, I'm letting Cerberus in. And Caden turns around and shoots him right in the fucking face.
What?
Yeah, that's pretty much how it went down for me, except that Shepard and Caden have sort of been on the path to reconciliation because they are super in love and the game wants them to be in love. The only real obstacle to it is my snake boyfriend, who I guess is still bleeding out over in the alley. But we do have a nice little conversation, and Shepard's like, Caden, you know me, come on. Like, would I point my gun at Udina if I didn't have reason? And he's like, no, you wouldn't. So then Udina runs over to the console, and there is like a renegade prompt to shoot Udina, but I didn't want to do that, and so Caden shoot it.
I did.
Oh, so there's a few things. First of all, it's Ashley for me, and I pulled that renegade prompt so fast. I just was like, consider this a divorce, and then shot him in the head. But if you have not been nice to Ashley or Caden, if you've been insulting to them, if you romanced them and then cheated on them and then didn't confess to cheating on them in the hospital room, if you didn't go visit them in the hospital, basically if you were an asshole to Ashley or Caden, through this whole series of games, they won't trust you. There's nothing you can do, even if you win those charm and intimidate checks. And I intimidated Ashley. I did not charm Ashley. I was like, Ashley, stand down or I will shoot you through your face. And she's like, oh, you're right, Shepard. Sorry, sir.
Wow.
But you can what will happen is if you have totally fucked up this relationship, you will shoot through them. Well, you'll shoot them first and then one of your teammates will shoot Udina. And they die forever.
Oh, that's horrible. Oh, I don't know if I could have lived with myself.
Mm-hmm.
You
You were playing a dangerous game. Did you confess the thing?
Yeah,
thing?
I did confess when I went to go visit Caden.
Were you like, okay, 5 minutes ago, I was getting some snake.
Here's the thing. Caden, first he was like, oh, I heard something about you and an assassin. And the game is like, oh, let me explain. And I was like, I don't have to explain anything to Caden. Like, Caden didn't see Shepard for 2 years. And then when he finally did, he's like, I mourned you. I had moved on. I've been on a couple dates with a doctor. I don't know who you are. I think you're a Cerberus robot. I can't even stand to look at you. And then you see him again and he's like, did you cheat on me? I'm like, we weren't dating. Like, I don't understand. He even sent a message afterwards. He's like, hey, sorry about Horizon. I know I freaked out. I don't really know what our status is, but maybe when all of this is over, we can like hang out and figure it out. Which, fine, but that doesn't mean we're dating. Caden is like, he has some messed up ideas about what constitutes a relationship.
Two things. First of all, pretty bummed out I didn't get to kill Caden here. That's too bad. And second of all, you know, Venepard is clearly in a relationship with Liara, so at least I don't have to worry about any of this drama.
Yeah, it seems like Liara is a lot more accepting of the fact that you were dead and came back and worked with Cerberus.
Well, she's the Shadow Broker now.
That's true.
Liara
has her own
you see,
kind of stuff going on.
Liara grew and changed like a person does. Caden still just sitting around sucking his thumb waiting for you to come back around.
That's true.
Anyway, that's it.
But yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, that's it. After this, I was like, so what are you going to do now, Caden? And he's like, I don't know. I guess maybe I could go on your ship. And I'm like, yep, welcome aboard. Let's pop you back up on the ship. We do go see Snaky Thane. He has lost a lot of blood. He's hanging out in the hospital. And how the tables have turned. Now Caden is by your side, and Thane is the one stuck to a hospital bed. But he's alive. For now.
Mm-hmm. His
He's
son's
still dying
there,
of
so
his
it's,
disease.
yeah. And they there wasn't enough time, or the blood transfer wasn't going through, so you gotta do some last rites.
Yeah. His son is there. At least he was for me, because I'd done Thane's loyalty quest and reconciled to him with his son. And his son has a little prayer book, and is reading out a prayer about, guide this soul, let them find forgiveness for the violence they've done in the world. May they be purified from everything. Let them find peace and happiness and life, and then eventually cross over the sea. And may she do well in her works. And then Shepard was like, why did the prayer end with she? Thane's a dude. And the son's like, oh, the prayer wasn't for Thane. It was for you. And I was like, oh, my snake.
Anyway, gonna go see Caden now. Bye.
Bye. Yeah, loved you lots. Rip. So yeah, before the corpse is even cold, I guess it already was kind of cold because he's a snake. I wasn't really sure what like the temperature situation was with that. But before the corpse is even shot into space or incinerated or whatever it is they do, Caden is back on board.
Yay!
We did it.
I love the
Did
happy
any of you
ending.
do the Attican Traverse Grunt mission?
Yeah, I did.
I did.
That one's fun, and it's got some fun choices depending on whether or not you had the Rachni Queen alive.
Mm-hmm.
Did you have the Rachni Queen alive?
Of course. Rachni Queen was the last of her kind, and I am famously anti, what do we call it? Genocide.
Yeah.
Jim?
Yes, she was alive.
See, Bim Jenks is a bad boy, and he makes a lot of bad decisions. So, he killed her, because, so you're trying to, this Krogan team has gone out of radio contact. You find out they're there to find this other Krogan team, which has gone missing on this planet. And Grint is there leading them, and he's like super cool. If you did his loyalty mission, he's like real confident and like their leader and they all love him. If you didn't do it, that he's like, no one respects me. They all think I'm a fake. I'm not real Krogan. But if Grunt is dead, it's Dagg. Dagg is the leader.
Hooray!
Yay, Dagg!
I really liked seeing Grunt here. Like, I had kind of forgotten about Grunt, but I liked Grunt a lot in the second game. Like, he's got a good story. And this had some, like, emotional underpinnings for me. Particularly as you get through it, you run into the Rachni, you find out that they're being used by the Reapers, and then Grunt, like, sacrifices himself to save you. And I was like, no! I was bummed. But then he just kind of comes walking out okay.
Or dies, depending on if you did his loyalty mission.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah, you have a choice. If the Rachni Queen is alive, you find her. She's been chained up, and I think you can either let her go or kill her. You have a conversation of like, hey, I thought we had an agreement that if I let you live before, you were just gonna like go away and never show your face again. And she's like, yeah, but then the Reapers got us. And you can be like, well, okay, I understand, but if I let you go again this time, you're gonna have to come join the Reaper fight for Earth. And she's like, okie dokie, we don't like them Reapers, we'll totally come fight them. What happens if you don't have the Rachni Queen alive?
Oh, it's pretty cool, actually. So, the Reapers have assembled a Rachni Queen from, like, bits of Rachni, non-queens that they found in various DNA, and combined with Reaper technology. So it's like this sort of sentient Rachni that's like, please help me. Please, I want to make the children sing. And you're like, okay, do you want to come join my team? And everyone's like, this is a terrible idea, Shepard. Don't do this. And I'm like, yes, you will be on my team. Great job. You're going to be part of the war effort. So you recruited to be the war effort. This does end up with all the Krogan dead and Grunt dead if you do this path. I don't think there's a way to... so it's a real bad, but the best part is, so you get the war asset here of the Rachni breeder, but then, 1 or 2 missions later, I think after I did Tchunka, you get an email from the base being like, help, the breeder has killed everyone on base. It's gone insane. I don't know how an email ends like that, but anyway, then you lose all the war assets and more because of the base that it killed. Because you tried to recruit this weird alien birther thing.
Wow. It's pretty fun. Incredible.
Yeah, I like that change.
That's
so
a
do not do
significant
that.
consequence.
Yep, it does super penalize you. I have now got some points taken off because I chose a very terrible choice. The best one to do is to keep all the Krogans alive and recruit the team, and then you get like lots and lots of points towards your war effort.
I didn't keep Rex's team alive. I think because what's the choice there? They have to.
There's one there.
It's the only way to give the Reaper Queen time to escape.
Right.
So Grunt's team did die protecting the Reaper Queen, but then she does not go crazy. She just goes and joins the effort and has children and replenishes the species, I guess. Although spoilers for the end of the game, she doesn't physically show up in the game again, which I was really disappointed by. Because I don't know why, but in my head, the Rachni can just fly through space like a whale.
Yep.
I don't know if that's canonical or just something I made up about them. But man, I would have loved to see some Rachni flying through space like a whale with that final armada.
Spoilers for the game.
There's an N7
We talked about that.
Cerberus abductions mission that I did. The only thing, it's one of those boring fight waves, but you do have to protect these two humans couple that's running around saying like, at least we'll die together. And the only cool thing about that is it uses the like urban colony map. So it's like a downtown human. It's a really cool location. I wish you could have explored.
Downtown human ground.
Like it's really well designed. Yeah. Downtown human ground.
Yeah, it's kind of not a slum, but like not a nice neighborhood of a human planet, and gives you a hint of what the cities must be like in the Mass Effect world.
Yeah, it looks cool. That's the only thing I wanted to mention there.
All right. Well, I don't believe there were any bullshit mini games. Where are we playing to next time?
I think where we said we were going to play to last time, which is finishing.
Isn't that only like 2 hours?
I don't know, Johnny. I'm terrible at choosing things. Someone else choose it.
Jim. He'll save us. Jim.
What if we did?
Jim.
I have an idea.
Jim.
Okay.
Jim. He's
What
our
if we
man.
do-
If he can't do it, Vanessa will.
I will. And even if he can do it, I'll still do it because I love control and power. What if we do finishing the Quarian Homeworld and the Omega DLC, since poor Matt has already suffered through that.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
Okay.
All right.
Cool.
What's
Jim,
everybody squarely against?
Wow.
Oh.
Can I go? I'm
Wow.
squarely against. I mentioned it
Yeah.
already. I feel like 1 in fucking 3 missions, they just drop a tank onto the field and have it shoot at you, and it aggravates the fuck out of me. It's bad.
Like a mech?
No, the mechs
Like
are
Or a
fine. Like the
Reaper?
Reapers.
Like when the Reaper was
But
shooting
it's not
at
just
you?
the Reapers. There's other stuff where it's just like something will just
Like the harvester with
the
their
harvesters.
beams.
Like it's frustrating. Like I confirmed, by the way, this Tchunker today while I was playing, that enemies really do just pop in. It's not just that they jump in from above you. I was running down through a battlefield, and I had 2, whatever the fuck they were. It was the genophage mission, so whatever those things were. I had 2 of these things just, not like teleport in with like a game effect, just pop in with me right in between them. And I was just like, fuck this. Like the game bends over backwards to give you like a bad perspective where you're always with your cheek on your gun. It's already frustrating in these combat missions to move around and there's no mini map. There's no way to know where these fucking things are. I swear to God, I spent half of these missions going, where are the enemies? And then getting shot in the back of the head. It makes me crazy. I like a lot of things about this game. I think the combat is trash. I mean, I don't have an OP gun, and obviously that would probably make me a lot happier, and I'm going to have to figure that out. But you know what? You shouldn't have to have an OP gun. You shouldn't have to have that. I think it's trash. That's what I'm squarely against. What about you, John?
If you did. I'm roundly for my OP gun. It just makes the game
Hell yeah.
fun. Blam, 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 blam. And it's like, I got a gun, and it shoots a grenade, and then when they explode, and you like see the blood mist, and then like 4 more grenades come out, and you can kill any enemy in 2 hits. What about you, Vanessa?
I'm both roundly for and squarely against Thane's heroic death and injury here. It was really great to see Thane in action. I liked how involved he was in this quest. I like that the game recognized that he and Shepard were in a relationship, and the sort of sadness of that, knowing that he was terminal. And if you go visit him, he kind of says like, oh, it's really nice of you to visit me so much, but I don't really think there's very much else to say. Like, he is kind of moved on and wants Shepard to move on. But it's very bittersweet. However, it's good writing. I enjoyed it. And also, now I am free to rekindle my old romance with idiot Caden,
Ew.
who thinks that I cheated on him, even though clearly we were on a break.
Liara was right there. Give in to your feelings.
What about Jim?
I'm squarely against Kai Lang. He's just a stupid character that doesn't belong in this game.
Yeah, we haven't even talked about how like Anderson's like, oh yeah, Kai Lang is one of the most notorious bounty hunters in all the galaxy. I had a run in with him and my girlfriend back.
Yeah,
in,
suddenly every time you talk to
Genosha.
Anderson, he's bringing up his girlfriend. It's real fucking weird.
Yep,
Kaylee
his girlfriend that you
Banks or-
saved from the Bionic
Yeah,
Institute.
Kaylee Banks.
Yeah.
Jim is so tired. Look how tired Jim is. He's
Aw,
so
poor
sleepy.
bud. He was up
Aw.
early this morning playing Power Wash Simulator. I saw it.
Wow.
Oh, buddy, you need to have a nap before we record.
I was up early playing PUBG.
I know.
Jim, so it's a long one, so we're not going to do emails today. Sorry about that. Patreon, we got a Patreon, $3 a month. We'll give you access to every single bonus episode. We've got another bonus episode this month. I think it's going to be Full Page Failure, the featured episode, right?
Correct.
Yeah. And also, for $5 a month, you'll get to vote. And there's a link between that bonus episode and the next vote that we'll talk about when the episode comes out. But it's going to be a lot of fun, I think. Anyway, so yeah. And no matter what you give, and you got to give, we read your name out on the show. And we will do so now. Starting with Julian Curtis, Wash in the Wind. Jason Timms, Rubber Bear. Very easy to find. The very easy to find woman. Ari Corpivara, Kyle Do Good Recklessly, and David Green. What about you, Matthew?
I would like to thank Chief Hazard built a soapbox for Vanessa to rant atop about her dislike of poop jokes.
Oh,
Ian
thank
Frederick,
you.
Orcus the Great, Cyril the Wolf, Aaron Sorkin, my own. Johnny Five Alive, Chad Wilson, Tracy the Borg Queen, and Race Jenkins.
I would like to thank.
I would like to thank
thank.
Jethro, Gage Lasharite, Ward Childress, Joseph, Andrew Van Barson, Abortion
Viva!
Rights are Human Rights, Eric Pidkameni, Tyler, Joe Krogan Rexperience, and Mary Queen of Scoffs.
And I would like to thank Shin Megami Tensei 3 in 2023.
Yes,
69
please.
Love Songs, Wedge Coon, Hang It Up, Andy Smith, Jim is the sweet one, Matthew's the
Aw.
cute one, Citrus C, David Shook, and Keysby Knight.
All right, everyone, that's it for this episode of Square Roots. If you'd like to send us an email, you can do so at squarerootspodcast@gmail.com. Come check out our cool Facebook group, the Square Roots Podcast group, for some more cool, very attractive people, or find us on Twitter at Square Roots Pod.
I've got my cat.
I don't know
She
where my
hates it.
cats are tonight. I see
Please
one
rate,
of
review,
them.
and subscribe
Somewhere
on
in the
iTunes,
multiverse of madness,
Ghana,
probably.
or wherever you listen to podcasts. Thanks to our one listener on Ghana. You're rad. Thanks to Stephen Morris for a Square Roots theme. You can find Stephen on Twitter as Beige on Beige and on YouTube. Links in the show notes.
All right, everyone, for Square Roots, I am Jim Banks.
I'm Matthew Van Zant.
I'm Johnny Brandon.
And I'm Vanessa.
Bye.
Caden. Goodbye, Thane. Will we ever meet again?